good Sunday evening. What's up, fellas? Good to see you all.
What's up, everyone?
How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it very, very much.
Hey, Peter.
What's up, Pete?
Yeah, who's in the room tonight? Who's in the room? I know Rickster can't be here tonight. Sorry, Rick. Wow. I know you're gone, but have a great week.
CJ.
I know you're going to catch us on Rewind anyways, but yeah, have a great week and hopefully catch you next week. What's up, Tom? What's up? What's good? I know you're just dreaming about Heroes Con. But you know what, Tom? You think every con seems to be good and you wish you were there when you can't make it. So what's the diff? It's just another con. Good evening to you, Jason Ladwig. What's good? Lee Parmenter. What's up? What's up? Oh my God. Tom? Rick, Ruben, you forgot my 3 guests. That's okay. You can give them a collective hello. What's good, TJ? And what else? Who else? So we got Lee again, Tom, Jason. Okay, everybody's saying hi to each other. And let's see, Jason, no heroes. Apparently not. Jason, John Brown, what's good? Good evening to you, as always. Thank you. ML looks very handsome here. Here or on the picture? Definitely here. He's got the do going. He's got the sweet do. So you must be talking about here live. Is it live or Memorex? Good evening, fellow Compulsed One. Good evening to you, Peter. And you think it's a great pick. Well, by the way, Mikail, approximately... Oh, first of all, thank you, Marcus. It was Marcus who helped me get that pick. And how old is that approximately? Can you let us know? 7 years, maybe? From your first year in the hobby or something?
I have no recollection of it whatsoever.
All right. Well, I made it work. I made it work. That's the important thing. So again, thank you, Marcus. And of course, no thanks to you, Mikail, for not bothering.
But why did you use the picture that you already had from last time?
I don't want to use the same one already. It's like,
Ruben don't want to let me shit all over my guest.
It reflects on me. So then I'm the one who looks like, oh, what a lazy prick this guy is. He can't even put new pictures of people up there. You know what I mean?
Nobody's doing that math. No one's keeping that spreadsheet.
Well, anyways, I like new pictures. I like you. I like to see good new pictures of you for my collection. How about that, okay? CJ, what's up? ML has the innocent look before gaming crushed his soul. Has your soul been crushed, Mikail?
Slightly disappointed. I wouldn't say crushed.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. By the way, CJ, I don't know if I don't think did Vivian say hello? I don't think so. She's busy. She's not feeling well. So if you don't see her say anything, it's because she's going to bed soon. What else? What else? Ruben has summoned the chat from the 4 corners of the universe. Yes, sir. Indeed, indeed.
Am I the dark universe then?
What's that?
Am I the dark universe?
You're always dark. You're just dark. Period. Who else? Who else? Okay, so everybody's saying hello to everybody. That's good. Sorry, had nothing better to do. He did me a favor because he had nothing better to do. Listen, hey, the truth is, everyone, the real truth is, I only give you the truth. The truth is that tonight's show is really, I guess I could have forced a show to happen in some way, but the reality of it all is that tonight's episode is really due to Mikail himself, because as I have on occasion asked of you guys, he reached out to me to say, hey, I wouldn't mind being on one of those commission type episodes. So if you need a guest for the next one, let me know. And fantastic. So as soon as he told me that, I started thinking about putting one together, and yeah, so here we are. And
I have the need to unburden myself, Ruben. I have confessions and accusations to make.
Go ahead.
No, we have to work towards it. Your 3-hour limit may not get there, but
Mikail. Okay. What's up, Carlos? And look how bitter he looks. Yeah, I know. Committee time. What's good, Kavi? What's good? And who else? Who else? Worn down by life. Everybody's saying, hey, what's up, John? What's good, John? You hanging out tonight? And congratulations on your Florida Panthers, by the way. Not happy, but whatever. I congratulate you nonetheless. Greetings, Jeff. Good to see you. Good evening. Oh my God. So all of us here, Mikail, I haven't asked you. Are you quite hot in Massachusetts right now? Is it you? Are you going through the?
It's very warm.
Yeah. What's your temperature right now down in the SoCal area, Hart?
Probably around 80 at the most.
Oh, so you're the only
85.
one. Wow,
Yeah.
interesting. You're interestingly enough, you're in SoCal, and you're probably the one who's coolest right now, temperature-wise, than the four of us.
Probably.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, we're at 89 in New York right now.
Yeah, that's where we are, right around there somewhere, and it's going to get hotter tomorrow too. So, bootlegging, Dan, it's we're trying to stop it. We try to put a stop to it, but it just keeps going. Hellos. Commissioners are in the house. What's up? Stop these Serenity now. Nice. Hola. Oh, Alberto. Can't stay long. Wanted to stay. Hit the thumbs. Thank you. Appreciated. Watch tomorrow. All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good evening. And everybody else, hellos, back and forth. All right. Do these quick. What else we got? Marcus knows that it was 2021. Seems longer ago, though. Looks like, looks almost teenagery. I mean, I don't think you are, obviously, in that picture, but.
I'm just acting coquettish. I can turn it up or down.
Got you. The pick stickler. That's right. Fresh to YouTube. Yes, sir. Hey, Mike, what's good, Mr. NSN Art? The YouTube avatars would be more recognizable if... I mean, Mikhail's is already very... I hope you never change yours, Mikail. It's the black with the red contrast. Boom, like it hits you. And it's like, yeah, don't need to go looking. It's right there. So I like that one. Dark Universe was the failed Universal Monsters. Oh, is that what it was called? And it's already officially considered failed, right? Yeah, I guess so, because they're not doing any more, I don't think so. Mikaelito, nice. Teach us how to take photos to present on CAF. I will not. Confession booth is open. Commissioned an episode. He basically did, you know. Commission commiserating. Commiserate over commissions. Look at you're both in lockstep with each other. Look at that. All right. So yeah, everybody, let me just quickly give a quick plug to Nikki and to Carl, and then we'll jump right into it. So Nikki, of course, has his show as always this Friday and every Friday on right here on youtube.com/theexp. Do a search for the Original Art Experience if you are new. Easier to remember the EXP, but Original Art Experience works as well. And it is a combination, a claim show, art claim show / talk show. And here is the young fella himself, Nikki B of Dynamite Entertainment. So, as I said, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, this Friday and every Friday. Please check it out if you can. And then I have here Carl, who is not with us as of yet, as far as I can tell. Real quick. So Carl did another one of those comic book reviews, an in-depth comic book review for G.I. Joe number 4 of the Energon. I always forget. Energon or Energon? Energon for Energy. Yeah. Energon universe. Where he shows, he does the review by showing the book via the original art pages, which is fun. It makes for, at least for us art collectors, a little bit more interesting than just a typical comic book review, you know. So I have just put the link to that video if you haven't seen it in the chat right there. Please do check that out if you are interested in the G.I. Joe or Transformers books that are being put out at Image these days. Carl's a huge fan, so you'll see the excitement and you hear it in his voice when you watch those episodes. All right. Got a few more people who just popped in. What else we got here? Upper 90s. What else? Everybody, did I miss these? Oh, look at that. James has popped in. And Kenneth. Hi to everyone from Virginia. Hello, and hello from Montreal. Let me see. Heart cooler than the rest of us. Body temp is 98.6. Nice. Let's back down into the 90s this weekend. Keep it where y'all are. Rodney, what's good? Can we stop the insanity of commission prices with this? Commission prices are getting insane. Well, these guys will let us all know. They've definitely got a lot more practice with that than I do, I'll tell you that. So upper 60s in Spokane? Wow. That's wild. Stay cool, don't sweat near any artworks. Yeah, exactly. 4 hours. No. So tonight, everybody, perfect timing. James, thank you very much. Welcome to you, of course. Tonight, due to our friend Rich needing, he's on the East Coast, wakes up super early. We're aiming for a 3-hour show. It may go a few minutes over, but that's what we're gonna do. Regardless, we will aim for a 3 or slightly more than 3 at worst show. So kind of, a quickie for us, for my channel. So yeah, there you go. And there will be no bathroom breaks again. Well, these guys, listen, James, you've seen people. I'm sure you've been around long enough to see people just up and walk away in the middle of me talking. That's because they're going to do their unplanned bathroom breaks. So, anybody on my show can certainly go and take a whiz or do whatever they got to do whenever they want to. Yes, 3-hour cutoff was teased. Yes, sir. And evening, Tom. My guys, come and get a poll for best guest at the end. You can just vote it in. I don't got the Slido set up. They have milk bottles ready. Okay. Let's see. Well, they're okay. Slido. You see, as soon as I mentioned it, I noticed you guys had posted, asked about it. Perfect. Yes. Jason, a Slido would be fun. Yeah, well, that's not going to happen tonight, so don't get too excited. Not on this show. There will be a private Slido on my OnlyFans. There you go. Keep it to the OnlyFans, man. Just for the comment section. Oh, sorry, that's me. I'd vote for the cucumber over the carrot every time. Jesus. Girthy. Okay. Slido tells if Rich and Ruben have the same haircut. It can't tell you. Ask AI though. What's up, Jason? Ask AI. AI apparently is able to tell you anything you need to know. And it's currently being reprogrammed, at least that Grok one, whatever, is that what it's called? Grok? The Musk one. Being reprogrammed so that it only answers into how he wants it to be answered. So, hell in a handbasket, I guess. Can Matt Kennedy pop? Oh, Matt Kennedy. Wow, that's a horrible spelling. Pop in when Rich leaves. No, we will be closing it down. We will be closing it down on time-ish. Live stream. All right. Does Hart have any regrets for cutting his collection? No regrets at all. And Grok is woke. Right, apparently. Hey, what's up, Mickey? Just got home from Heroes.
Mickey.
Already home from Mickey. Mickey's already home from Heroes. Wow, that's cool. Well, I hope you had a great time. Hope it was fun. And wow, long time Canadian friend, Mike Davis. You're so random about these appearances, Mike. Wow, like out of nowhere. What's good, man? Good to see you. And hi, Mickey. Okay, so yeah, so everybody, just really quick to let you know, not only what I mentioned earlier about the roughly 3-hour show tonight, okay? So because of that, not only that, you guys know I usually like to do things sort of off the cuff, right? I don't like to script any of my shows. I don't do that. Tonight, I just wanted to try something a bit different because whenever I try to think about things to ask people about commissions, the things that come to mind are usually always kind of like the same questions. And I was just thinking, like, I don't know, if I think about it a little bit, let me take a couple hours and jot some notes down. Maybe I'll be able to come up with a little bit more sort of interesting stuff, if not just something different than the norm. So I have topics set up already with questions already set up for these guys. So what I'd like to ask you guys, we're always all in this together. You guys can help out. I will be the proxy for you guys, of course, but I would prefer, if you can, because I got a bunch of questions already anyways, and honestly, I don't even know if we're going to be able to get through all the topics and questions that I have already set up. So I prefer if you can kind of focus on commenting more so than questions, because there's already a bunch of questions, So focus on commenting more than anything. But if you gotta ask a question, please, I beg of you, ask something that's related to what's going on at the moment. Oftentimes, some of you ask the weirdest things that we're not even talking about, and it makes me think you guys are like 2 hours behind on the stream or something. So yeah, so there we go. So had a great time. Got a few things. Excellent. I'm sure we'll see them pop into your gallery soon enough. So who has the longest wait? What does that mean? Who goes the longest distance for a commission? Here we go with the questions. Did I get to approve the picks for the ad? We'll see a little bit, by the way, speaking of picks. These are not picks, but no, they don't get to approve. Some of them don't even give me picks. That's the thing, Stanley, of course, you would. The birthday cake. Oh God, you guys send photos of yourselves, various poses for the artists of what you want and do. Okay, whatever. All right. So yeah. So anyways, thank you, John. It wouldn't be you without you asking that, something like that, right? Yeah. So that's it. So it's like I said, it's a little bit sort of a little bit more, if you want, planned out, scripted, if you will. Just want to see how it goes, and we'll see if it either helps to sort of shorten the time, or if it doesn't really make any difference. I mean, usually the overall episode time, ultimately, what a lot of people don't really realize is the biggest factor is actually you guys. It's the chat, you chatters, the fact that we interact so much. That's what really stretches it out. Because don't forget that tribute to Butch Geis I did, guys. 200 images. That's the equivalent of 10. Count them. 10. The equivalent images in 10 average show and tell episodes. Okay, and I got it done in like 3 hours and I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. So, and that's because you guys remember I had to tell you I couldn't interact with you on that show. So that's the difference, right? Not interacting, I can get 200 images in 3 hours, or just over 3 hours. So yeah, but we'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear and yeah, see what happens. I know I'm not going to get to those questions. Blink 3 times, Mikail, if we need to send help. Okay. What a show. Okay, SWAT is on the way. Okay, all right. Clowns, and more clowns. All right. And oh yeah, and we will see a little bit of art. Okay, it's more of a discussion show, everybody. So that's really what I want to focus on. But we'll see a little bit of art, a few pieces from a couple of these guys. Hart didn't want to participate. He's like, fuck it. Like, I don't give a shit. Not interested. Let's just talk. So that's good. A handful of pieces from both Rich and Mikail. Okay. So with that being said, let's see. Let me get to... my God, I can't believe I've done this. So we're going to start off with the first topic, which is personal collector journeys. All right. And by that, what I mean is I want to ask the three of you. I figured this would be the perfect thing to just kind of ease into it, just start off. And of course, whether I know, that I know the answers or not, don't worry, just answer for everybody else, for everybody else's benefit. But I'd like to hear from all three of you. What was the first commission that you ever requested? So I don't mean necessarily that you got, but if you requested something and the very first request was denied for any reason, I still want to hear it. That's what I want to hear, not necessarily the first one you got. But if you didn't get denied on your first one, then yeah, just let us all know what it was. Basically, artist and character. And anybody can jump in at any time. So in whatever order you guys.
Rich, go for it. Rich.
Rich, I already know you, so you go ahead.
Yeah, Ruben knows this one already, but back in 1986, they had a local convention at a hotel near me, and Bill Willingham was a guest of honor for that show. He was drawing the elementals at the time for Kamiko, and I made the mistake early on with commission requests of I always wanted to get something different from the artist because I figured they were bored drawing the same character over and over again. So I didn't ask for any of the elemental superheroes. I asked for the most obscure villain in the comic, which was Ratman. So, I mean, yeah. So I was probably the only guy that asked for Ratman, but still have this piece to this day. And it was more interesting to me at the time that as an artist, I wanted to know like what paper they used, what tools, was it pencil, was it ink, did they bring brushes to the show? This was my first experience. I had never seen a panel page of art in my life at that point. So I wasn't even sure like what paper they were using. So that was very interesting to me.
Right. And that was 86. Wow. Yeah. That's wild. And you remember, I don't know if you remember me telling you, but in 86, that same year, Willingham came to Montreal for a little months. Yeah. And then my friend, I couldn't afford it. My friend decided, I'm going to get a sketch. And he's like, what should I get? What should I get? Like, well, it's got to be elementals because it's Bill Willingham. And he chose, and we both loved Ratman. And it was like, okay. And he got a Ratman too. So how crazy.
And you were saying your friend's sketch was pretty smaller, right, on the paper?
I mean, I don't.
Because the one I got was 14 by 17, which was
pretty large. No, I don't remember it being like that. Yeah,
and it was pretty detailed too, because back in like the 80s, they were doing faster, looser sketches as opposed to the tight ones they do now. Most artists, and this one it has like blue pencil underlay, and then he went in with regular graphite on top of that, so it's pretty detailed.
Yeah, no, it's a nice one. Yeah, we showed it on your show and tell.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, actually, you didn't officially do a show and tell. We should probably do one. You came on back when my Hangout, for a little while, my Hangout episodes, that series, which was intended to be more for just relaxing, sitting back and chatting, discussing, whatever. For a while though, I felt bad, like but people like art. Okay, I'll let people show a little bit of art, and I was allowing people to show like half the amount of a show and tell, so it was like 10 pieces or whatever. So it was kind of like a quasi show and tell. Anyways, one day we'll do like a full blown show and tell, and yeah.
Sure, awesome.
But yeah, and Mikail, how about yourself, man? Do you even remember, Mikail? It's been so long.
No, it's I've not been doing this that long. And it was Tim Sale at Boston Comic Con 2015.
Nice.
And I had really no idea what to ask for. I was just thinking about it even while I was in line. It was the first time getting a commission, and I'd always liked his Grey Hulk. So I asked for Grey Hulk, then asked him to incorporate my daughter in some way.
Okay.
And so I think the fact that it turned out so well at the end really helped kickstart my collecting.
Oh, that's very cool. So your very first one isn't even a pure typical commission because it has your daughter in it, basically.
Well, what's a pure? You mean like it's not superhero pose, Superman like that, or?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And maybe because I didn't hear because I got distracted with trying to catch these guys' crazy comments. But no. So when you said you wanted him to incorporate, so what's the full incorporation of your daughter in the piece?
Grey Hulk is giving my daughter a flower.
Right. Okay. So perfect. So should we? Because I wasn't sure. We should have asked you guys earlier. Should we look at that right now and show them how it looks? Hello?
Do it. Yes.
because Mikail, that's the one you gave me earlier today, right? This morning.
Yes, that's the one. The reason I sent it was because it was the first one, and it also turned out great. So.
Yeah. Perfect. Exactly. No. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say is it's not like a typical commission. In other words, I mean, I guess nobody would know that it's your daughter. It could just be any like little girl. I guess it's fine, right? But I guess had he made it look, very photorealistic or whatever, then it might be something where, okay, you can tell that that's the commissioner's like child probably, and then maybe
right. It still falls into what might just be considered a random illustration.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So let us take a look here, and here we go. I'm going to switch it up to this little view. Oh, and my gosh, I can't believe I had this up here for so long. All right. Oops. Sorry, everybody. We'll get to this later. This little Gene Colan thing here is it's just kind of a secondary thing we're going to show after we show one of Rich's pieces. But so let us show the Tim Sale piece, which is really great, actually. Man, of course, I love Tim Sale, but here we go. And yeah, I mean, it's so, obviously, especially when you know that it's, for your daughter. I don't know, it's just sweet, and it has that whole juxtaposition of, everybody knowing the Hulk as this rampaging, raging monster. And yet you also know that he had oftentimes his moments of just peace. And frankly, that's what he wanted all the time. It's what he kept begging for, his moments of peace. Just leave me alone. I want peace, And it reminds me, of course, of the whole Frankenstein mythology, and in particular this piece, because it is kind of based on the Frankenstein mythology, the Hulks, I mean, but this particular piece, given that, you have him interacting with your daughter, that it reminds me so much of that classic scene. For those of you who have seen the original Frankenstein movie, where he's interacting with the girl and, just wants to be her friend kind of thing, So
I'll say two things about this. So
Yeah.
one is we can, to answer Carlos's question, yes, they did tag me for a double figure. So this was twice as expensive.
Are you come on?
sketches.
Are you
Oh,
being
yeah.
serious?
I am.
What?
And so it was quite expensive. And then to consider that it was the first time I was ever doing anything like this. So to hand over that much money, and then if the result had not been great, I think, it really would have skewed my perspective on, if not the hobby, then at least commissioning. But the fact that it turned out great,
Right.
did go a long way.
Yeah, I gotta say that really surprises me, man. Like, I mean, 2015. So in 2015, sorry, that was when you went to the convention.
Yes, Boston Comic Con.
Yeah, at Boston, right? At the time, not that it matters because it was at the con, but I'm just curious. At the time, was he being repped?
This was through Essential.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I didn't. Wow. So in 2015, Essential already had him. Wow.
I mean, again, I was so new to the scene that I didn't really take in the details, but
Okay.
it could be that he was only doing some shows with them. Who knows?
Okay. But yeah, that's it's kind of one of the things that I've heard about Essential ever since. A lot of the artists who are with them, I've heard a lot of people tell me that, this guy and that guy used to be so good to deal with, whatever. But ever since they went, and got repped by them, I don't like dealing with them. Whatever, everything's so way more expensive, and it's all about the money. Blah blah blah. I don't know, but it surprises me that it does go that far back. Like 2015, and already repped by them. Wow. But either way, it's disappointing to hear that, Mikail, to be honest, because.
You know what? It's also when I started going to cons, I did have my kids put into quite a couple of commissions, and it's a difficult thing to approach.
Right.
You don't want to come across as being like psychotic, demanding photorealism, etc. So you kind of develop this whole song and dance about what your expectations are, and that it's just an impression. And then by my second show, I had 2 look sheets of their faces from different angles, just to give the artist an impression of what they were drawing. So if you're kind of handing over all this information and asking for this thing, 2 figures, kind of, it does make sense. I never fought it or anything like that. So
I don't know. I think you're being nice. Man. 2 figures make sense to me. Yeah, it just means it's given the size of her. I would agree with you. If I don't know, it was like a full body standing there next to him, and they're like, I don't know, dancing or something like that. But she's so tiny in the image. I don't know. It just seems like he could have been bent over looking at a rock.
Go to my gallery and look at my Daniel Warren Johnson Vader versus Luke commission. That's also a 2 figures, and then let's have a discussion about
Mikail.
And again,
Mikail, I got a question for you. Is the background included in the price, or is he doing?
I didn't pay anything extra. It was just a 2 character.
So maybe that's why it was expensive. It's because he incorporated your daughter with the background itself. I'm not sure.
Well, it wasn't that, this is the price for what you want. It was like, this is the price for 1 figure. And the price for what you want is
okay.
double that.
Okay, gotcha.
And then as Rich was saying, it was super exciting and interesting to see him approach it, to see the tools that he was working with. If you look at the dark part of his thigh, that was the first mark that Tim made on the paper. No pencil, nothing, right? Straight with the brush. And then the second mark he made was the horizon line starting in the lower right corner, arcing up. And then from that beginning, like to watch him craft the shapes and put it together, it was really remarkable.
Yeah, to touch on that, Mikail, some artists are really enjoyable to watch them create. Tim definitely did stuff like that, and then it incorporated his ink wash into it. Mm-hmm. Not all of them do like a pencil layout, so it's definitely fun to watch.
I hung around the table and without trying to hover too much, and I asked, I watched him work through about 3 of them. It was fantastic.
That's always been my favorite thing about sort of art is watching, if you get the opportunity to see the artist's work. To me, that's more interesting than the, what you get at the end, and then having the actual art. I just love watching the process.
I would totally agree.
And as it's a commission show, as it's a commission discussion show, it's also worth mentioning that interaction, me being able to approach an artist at a table and have a conversation about, hey, what do you want, and even if it's just a few minutes of back and forth, yields so much more than I went and I put my request down on a list, never spoke to the artist, never had any interaction, then came back later and picked it up. Right?
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, I guess as commission collectors, you're at the con, and you're there to do many things, and even if you were there primarily to get commissions, typically you're there to get more than just one commission, right? So it makes sense that you can't really typically have that experience of watching your commissions get created, since you've got to, leave your order with that artist, and then you got to go and hit up all the other artists, right? And of course,
it depends on your mindset, right, Ruben? It depends on where you're at. I thought this really benefited from being a home show for me.
Right.
So you're less stressed. It's very easy. And as I was new to the hobby, I didn't have an agenda per se. And in those days, the show in Boston, the artists would be generally not very well attended. Like Mignola came one year, and I remember he was sat next to Steve Rude, and I just walked up to their tables and had long leisurely conversations with both of them, because it wasn't like there was a line of people waiting.
Yeah. It depends on how you approach it as well, too. I mean, let's say, like, I'm just saying, what I was going to say earlier was, like, even if you went there and you were like, oh, yeah, my goal is I want to get these 10 artists to do me a commission. I think, like, if it was me, and I don't obviously know since I've never done it, but if I had to do that, I kind of like to think that what I would do is go to them all as quickly as possible, right? Because 10 is a lot to get on everybody's list, and hope that you get them done by the end of the show. But then, like, let's assume I got that part done and I got the orders in on 10 of them. I think what I would do, just because I like watching the process, is I would then go back to the artist who I guess is my favorite, let's say, and see if, assuming they're not the type of person who minds people sort of hovering over watching them, I would ask politely, and I'd just kind of just quietly stay there and just watch. I think I'd watch as long as I could,
that's what I did with Tim. And like I said, it was like basically my first con and my first commission ever. So this one benefited from the fact that I wasn't even, I'd spent like a crazy amount of money already just on this one piece.
Right.
So that kind of tempered my expectations for the rest of the show as well.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah.
The interaction benefited from me being a newbie and not wanting to run around and get 5 or 6. I think I came into the show and said, maybe I'll get 1 or 2, and then basically spent all my money on the first one.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Mikail, quick question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you take photos at the shows at all, but one of the things I like to do is take photos of the artist while they're working on my piece, so I can see it like in stages. Like we were talking about before, that I actually enjoy the process maybe even more than the finished product.
I did start doing that shortly after some videos and whatnot as well. And I never took pictures of me with the artists, which I still don't do. But then after like Neil Adams passed away, I felt bad that I didn't have a picture of him and the piece that he did for me. But overall, I like the process shots as well.
Yeah, actually, the Colan piece that Ruben showed briefly before is him in the process of drawing that piece for me.
I mean, that's fantastic, right? Like it goes with the piece,
right? Exactly,
forever in your collection,
and it helps retain the memory also of the experience.
For sure. Hart, how about yourself, my friend? You remember your first one?
Yeah, actually, it was Mike Oming from Powers.
Mike Oming.
1998, 99.
Wow.
It was just a couple of his characters from the Ship of Fools. Well, from the book that he worked on with Glass. But that was it.
Not a Powers sketch then?
No, this was way before Powers. This is years before he became famous. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it was Powers that kind of brought him into the... Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Wow. And I have to ask, out of curiosity, out of all the things you could have asked for and all the artists you could have asked, why Oming? And why that? Why Oming especially?
He's the first one that emailed me back. That was it. He was in New York. I was in California. So that was. I didn't go to shows for art. I usually went there for comics and whatever. But for the most part, it was just he emailed me back first, and then I started commissioning him like every 2 to 3 weeks, I sent him another one to do. So he kept on giving me more and more. That was it.
Right. Got you. So let me ask this. Over time, and of course, just so all of you know, those of you who don't know, who are watching either tonight or those of you watching on Rewind, of the three gentlemen here, Hart is actually the only one who has stopped collecting, but he has decades of experience to draw upon. So he anything he talks about, it'll be based on his past experience of collecting. So I just wanted to throw something at you guys. Have your tastes or your approaches changed over time? And if so, how? I mean, because I would think that your tastes it's almost like guaranteed that you would say yes, I would think. But approaches, the way anything about the way you approach commissioning, with any of you, is there anything that comes to mind that makes you think like, yeah, I do things differently than the way I once did, maybe through your experience, maybe you had not great experiences, so you try to make it better by doing different stuff? Yeah, I don't know. I any of you can answer that.
I mean, originally I had themes for a lot of the commission requests.
Themes,
themes, yeah, whether it was in a sketchbook or, because I had like a Captain America sketchbook or Avengers or whatever. Even at one point when the Watchmen movie came out, like the year before, I was asking for a lot of Watchmen drawings from different artists. So the themes have changed over the years for sure. As far as the approach, I mean, the biggest factor is the price right now. Whereas you used to get, commissions for $100 or a few. Now you're talking thousands for certain artists, So yeah. The cost you definitely have to factor in now, and that's even limited me to putting stuff into a sketchbook, because it's like, do I want to put $1,000 into a page in a book as opposed to like something I can frame and put on the wall?
That's an interesting point, Rich.
It's a huge investment.
It's a really interesting point, because I remember back in the day, like if it was the 90s or even early 2000s when the commissions were still relatively, affordable. It's true, right? Like when you think about it, if you're somebody who wants to put them in one of those nice black hardcover sketchbook, especially, but really any sketchbook, right? There's something special about having them all. I always thought, like, how cool the guys that do it in a sketchbook, and then, because when you get it full, when you finally finish it, it's like, wow, like it's amazing. It just looks amazing to be able to flip.
It's like a compilation, Yeah. And like I told you the other day, some of my books have been going on for like 20 years now.
Yeah.
But the scary part is when you have all that money invested into it, you're very hesitant, like handing it off to somebody. That am I ever going to get this back type thing, especially if it's an artist you don't know.
Yeah, there's always a lot of risk involved in that. But like you said, just the cost factor alone, that one factor alone, I find fascinating, where, it used to be, it seems to me, I don't know, right? But I think if I had to guess, I would say there's probably less people using sketchbooks, permanent sketchbooks now. For that reason that you mentioned, the cost factor, I think I would be terrified to think, like, given what they cost nowadays, if you want to get a good quality one and you still want it in your sketchbook, it's like, wow, it's like once it's in there, it's in there. It's like just this one page alone in this page of, I don't know, however many 100 pages or 200 pages are in this sketchbook. This one page alone is like 700. This one's 1,200. This one's 400. Like, you know what I mean? Like it seems pretty crazy. For that reason alone, I would never do that. I think I would.
Well, the solution I came up with was, if I was going to get something in my sketchbook now with the prices, it's going to be a head sketch. So it's more affordable. You can still get a head sketch for 100, 200, whatever. So yeah, if an artist tells me for a commission, it's going to be like starting at $1,000, there's no way it's going in the book.
Right.
It's just cost prohibitive.
Yeah. Mikail, did you do a sketchbook, or you?
No, I was going to add that as someone who doesn't usually do who doesn't do sketchbooks, to come across one that's been lovingly put together and someone's taken the time to conceptualize it and to run it around conventions, and and then you see going through it is amazing. I think for the owner, I'm sure, and then for me as someone seeing it, I really enjoy seeing a well put together, lovingly curated sketchbook. But I don't. I mean, I've seen people running around cons trying to get that stuff organized and moving it around, and to me, that's just not how I'd rather do it. I think for the price point discussion, I've really started enjoying 9x12 as kind of a smaller size and a more economical price point. And then with the Itoya ring binders, because generally my commissioning is across 3 characters. So with the Itoya, with the ring binders, you can put the pages in the kind of order that you want. So you can kind of build a themed book without doing the sketchbook route. So it's kind of like a hack in a sense. And so I have like a little 9x12 Itoyas that are some of my favorite books because they have great commissions in them.
It gives you more options, keeping it loose, you know what I mean? Rather than in a sketchbook, right? You definitely have more options that way. So, Hart, how about you?
No sketch. Well, I started a sketchbook, but I went cheap ass sketchbook, and the paint or the inks bled through, and I was like, "Screw this!" I threw it away, and I was like, "Yeah, it's not worth it." Commissions at conventions were not my thing because, hunting it, getting in line, all that rigmarole that you have to do, it's just a waste of my time. Just for myself. I'd rather, go to the bar, meet an artist there or whatever it is, and just start chatting. You don't have to talk about, art necessarily, just whatever. But, that's how I met some of the artists, is just at the bars or at a restaurant. It's like, and then afterwards you get like their email and say, hey, interested in commission, and then you kind of make your inquiries and get prices, and then you go from there. And my prices back then, back in the 90s, was a lot cheaper than now. When Rich was saying a head sketch for $100, $200, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. So I mean, look, and these days they've really. Well, let me ask you, all of you, real quick. I mean, I think I know the answer, but like, would you say that on the whole, commissions in general nowadays, would you say first of all, would you say they're expensive? Would you say they're too expensive? Or on the whole, they're still okay? Or even cheap?
I would say if you're going through a rep, it would be extremely expensive. Just crazy money. Right. Going through the artist depends on whether they want to work with you. If they don't know you, they're going to price you just like their friend that's another artist that is being repped, and they'll use that price tag for their price commission quote. So, to me, it's everything's expensive, and I've been out of the game for a while now. But every once in a while, I'll look at a commission, a list, and see what the pricing looks like, and I'm just shaking my head. I can't see it. Spending that money and waiting 6 to 10 months for the commission, or a year, or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm over that.
We'll be touching upon that topic a little bit later, of course. Yeah. Let me see. Commissions take patience. They certainly do, Marcus. They certainly do. What's good? There we go. He's here. The man, the myth, the legend. What's up, Matt?
Matty.
That's right. Jason Hart does not collect anymore. He's a former collector. Pina coladas, too.
I'm a former cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys, too.
Is that right? Sexy.
Yeah. I'll be showing off to you, Ruben, later on after dark, right?
God, please,
Yeah.
please don't threaten me. You know. Okay.
We should say though,
Yes.
you can still get an 11 by 17 commission with background in the $200 range. From a really good artist who's just not as well known.
Right.
Yeah, usually the more up and coming artists you can get, you know, a better deal price wise. If you're going for a big name artist, you're going to pay top dollar. So that's just the way it goes.
But not to say like you could fill your gallery with great pieces, you know, sub 250 if you're willing to take the time to look in all the right places and
for sure.
and to not have the big names in your gallery list, you know.
Right.
But if you're going for the big names, it's like Mikail, you're going to have to go to like
no. If you're going for the big
Felix
names,
or whoever it is, right?
Yeah, I agree. But I'm just saying, we as a commissioned show, we should definitely make people watching aware that you can get great pieces done for $200.
Right. I understand your point. It's just the commission that somebody wants most likely is going to go towards the big guys or ladies that are popular right now because they're doing books currently. So the person that's reading those books wants to transfer that feeling of good.
I think it's a mindset. It really depends on when the person walks into a show or starts looking online. It doesn't. A lot of people know that I'm not going to try and get a Nick Dragata Batman.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of people know that, and there's artists doing Absolute Batman homages, or you know, now Absolute Batman is a figure you can ask for from any artist. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, there's different kinds of collectors. Also, you know, there's people that have been in the hobby for a while that it's more nostalgia driven. That you want to get an artist that you grew up reading their book or whatever. And then there's newer people into the hobby that are going after newer artists of books they may be reading now. So it's two totally different landscapes.
And let me just say, you guys, those of you here in the studio with me, you three, this is what I want more of, if you don't mind. More back and forth between the three of you. Don't be shy. I'm just saying, I just want you to not be shy. Don't feel like, oh, I'm a guest. I have to be polite and wait till everybody's talking. Jump in on each other and say whatever you got to say whenever you want to say it. I love that. That sounds more like, you know, round table and, you know.
Ruben, my Adderall hasn't kicked in yet, so sorry about that.
Oh, when it kicks, it's that's it, you know. But no, seriously, no, that was good. I love that.
But what Mikail was saying about you know, artists that you can get for like $200, you know, affordably. You know, you got to do your homework with the newer artists. You may not have grown up reading a book that they drew because they weren't drawing back in the day. And, you know, that's more of an experience going to conventions, walking around, going through people's portfolios. I like this guy's stuff, you know, and they're up and coming, and, you know, the prices will reflect that.
Mikail,
it's not going to fall into your lap.
Mikail, if I can ask, who would you say is a $200 person that you would go to right now? I mean, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but if you don't want to answer, that's fine.
So there's a Brazilian artist that I just got a piece from for exactly that amount of money.
Was that with shipping? With shipping?
Yes, I believe it was with shipping.
Oh,
I believe it was actually $160 plus $20 for the shipping.
Oh, all right.
You know.
And where did you know their art from?
So 1 week I did the art picks for the CAF Thursday show. And so when you do that, you look at every single piece that's posted to CAF. And I saw a piece by this guy and really liked it. And then found him on Instagram, followed up, sent him a message, and got a piece.
Okay.
Very smart.
And again, and it was mentioned in the chat, IC3 was a great show to get a bunch of art, like 90% of the artists I was not familiar with, and to get to see all of their work together was fantastic, and I got some really great pieces out of that as well.
Yeah, that's what my friend loves going to the, how's it called? It's in Toronto. TCAF. TCAF show, because it's all indie guys and a lot of really, really good artists you haven't heard. You constantly discover people you've never seen before, and oftentimes it's very affordable because they're not very known, and they're just small press type published people kind of thing.
And it's interesting too when you're in the hobby for say 20 somewhat years. You see a lot of artists that come to shows, or they've done a few published works, and you jump on getting art from them, and then a lot of times they kind of fall out of the industry altogether. Whereas you thought they were the next big thing, and then they go into a totally different field.
Yeah, that happens. That happens, right? So Mikail is my commission North Star. He is how I discovered Mannix and many others. Just follow him. Follow him. That's it. That's all you got to do. If you're primarily a published collector, the best thing you can do is just kind of tag along, so to speak. Ride the sort of the coattails, so to speak, of someone who is really deep into the commission collecting. You'll listen. You're always going to learn more from somebody who knows a lot more than you about the topic, right? So that's great. It's a great thing to do.
And segueing into what Stanley's saying, by that same token, there's a couple untried artists or lesser known artists that I have. I definitely have pieces out that I'm getting to the point where I have to dig and poke a little bit and work to get it out of them. That just comes with it.
You gotta whip them. That's all I gotta say, because but I've been there too many times. My horror stories are too numerous.
Two experiences where the artist didn't come through for me, and I had to do chargebacks in both cases to get my money back.
We'll get to that. Don't expand.
Jump the gun.
This is spoilers time. Come on, man, Ruben.
I saw a segue, Ruben.
I know. See that, and that's the thing. It's like
you're killing my flow.
I know, and this is why
he only has 3 hours, dude. Come on.
This is why I never till tonight have prepared like topics and questions in advance, because I just prefer the flow, right? The organic flow. But whatever. Let me try to at least stick with it for tonight. But I wanted to say welcome this evening to someone new, 8-Bit Comic Culture. Or did you pop into one of the previous 2 episodes of this series? Either way, welcome. And he's telling us, so he got a 11x17 with full background from Manuel Garcia for $250. That's a bargain, and he's a good artist, Manuel Garcia. And after reading Carnage, you reached out to him. Yeah, that's. And you gotta reach out to as many people as possible. That's how you find where the bargains are, So
you get lucky sometimes. I mean, that's the thing. You throw out 5 inquiries, you maybe get 2 back. You get lucky.
Yeah. It's a lot of it has, for sure. I think all of you probably say that the commission game in general as a whole, a lot of risk is involved. Therefore, a lot of luck is also involved, correct?
And it's a money pit. I mean, it becomes a money pit after time.
But in what sense? Money pit comes with negative connotations.
Okay.
Right?
The value of the commission is not what a resale value is. So in other words, what you put into it, you will not recoup. If I put $250 in the Carnage guy, and I feel that later on he's worth $500, I'm trying to sell it, and nobody wants it at $500. They only want it at $150 or even less.
Yeah.
You lose money real quick, and you get a bad feeling in your mouth, and it goes south from there. And I'm not saying everybody's going to have that experience, but there are people that just take your money and don't do squat with it. They run away. Yeah,
for sure. We all know that, and perhaps we'll touch upon that a little bit later. But let me move over to some other topics that I wanted to address and some other questions. And this next one here, I wanted to ask you about. It's the what I call the mindset of commissioning. And in this case, what I mean by that is is there a, I guess, quote unquote, philosophy behind who you guys ask and what you ask for? I mean, okay, or let me put it. Let me put it perhaps another way. I mean,
yeah, please.
Do you chase? Because of course I know a lot of people chase specific characters, but I guess do either of you currently or in the past? I think it was mentioned before, like Rich mentioned it. Chase, for example, as opposed to characters. How about either themes, right? Okay, like Rich mentioned themes, and then a great example of themes would be Brian Peck and his collection of superheroes, and they're all holding on to and listening to their iPod from way back, you know, because he worked at Apple for the longest time, so that's why he started that commission theme. But either a theme, or have you ever approached commission collecting in terms of wanting to go after different artistic styles? I would think probably not, but you never know. So I'm curious if.
Well, themes is kind of broad. I did start several themes, but they kind of petered out after a while because, you kind of hit a high and it plateaus when you start a couple themes. Let's say the iPod thing, right? If I was doing it, or actually if I was doing Ruben and his jammies with Stingray, after a couple commissions, I'd be plateauing and kind of saying, what am I doing? That's just me personally, but I could see other people doing it for a whole year and being happy with it, which is great for them. But as far as style of the artist, no, I don't really think that comes into play.
Okay, you basically, because I figure you guys would all say the same thing, which is, as far as styles go, you just commission the artists whose styles you like regardless. So it's not like you guys would ever stick to, hey, I'm going to get commissions only kind of like of this style. Guys, for example, like the guys with the billion little lines. Let me try to get a McFarlane. Let me try to get a Finch. Let me try to get, you know what I mean? That kind
I wouldn't go for Tony Fleece's My Little Pony style as a horror commission, right?
Right.
I mean, you probably wanted...
Unless you were going for some kind of a weird theme where let me go for my horror topics, right? But I'm only going to get them done by cartoony type style.
Yeah. I mean, then you're going into a shtick kind of thing and a theme that is just personal to yourself. I mean, that will, resale value is zero at that point for anybody else. you know. But I think I want to reword my answer about the styles. When you pick an artist, you're already thinking of their styles pre-commission, right? Even though you're not taking into effect that you want that style. If, like Mikail, Tim Sale, right? His style is dark and moody and emotional. Would you go for a, Looney Tunes commissioned by Sale when he was alive?
If that's for whatever reason something that I wanted to do, then sure. But which Looney Tune, right? I think he would he would do a really good job with Elmer. He would you pick a character with some darkness in them. I think it's more. I mean, what Ruben's asking is getting into very much the core of commissioning. So it's a very long and varied answer that you're going to get. And again, with the themes, when I started collecting and I discovered CAF and then discovered Michael Finn's gallery, I spent days going through his 1 minute later stuff because it was so interesting and so compelling. And on top of that, he had world-class artists participating in his project. So it was great. I commissioned a lot of Galactus, and I'm continuously pleasantly surprised by the way artists find different ways to interpret Galactus. I think he's a character that gives you a lot of opportunity to.
Can I ask you one quick question? When you commissioned the Galactus, do you send them references?
No,
or do you?
That's insane.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, if I was sending references for Galactus, I would automatically just go and take a bunch of Kirby page Galactuses and send it to the artist, even if they know Galactus.
Right. I should clarify. For me as a commissioner, I am almost zero input, other than when I start, I usually give the artist a choice. Mm-hmm. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying about when you have the opportunity to meet an artist and chat with them, you always end up with a better product because you may talk about your choices. And what I find with giving an artist a choice is immediately one of the three is going to click with them in some way or the other. And so you're already forging a better connection than when you give a mandate that I want this thing from you. That maybe that artist just that isn't into doing that day.
Do you go deeper? Let's say like Wolverine. If you went and asked somebody for Wolverine, would you say, I want Wolverine from the Ultimates universe, not anybody else's, or I want the John Byrne yellow and brown costume only?
It depends on my mindset that day. Maybe I would say something, but generally I would say no.
Okay.
Generally, I'd know going into it that what is this artist's previous work like and where are they going to... If I know for some reason, they killed the original costume, but they're horrible with Age of Apocalypse. Then fine. I'm gonna ask for that. Recently, I asked for Wolverine versus dinosaur, which is kind of
any dinosaur or the dinosaur from
just Wolverine versus dinosaur. That's about the deepest. That's about as detailed as I'll generally get.
Brontosaurus, or you just went dinosaur?
I feel like it should be a carnivore.
All right. So it's a violent picture imagery, right?
Yeah, and again,
do you say that to them, or do you just?
I might say, hey, if you've read Jungle Adventure, something in that vein.
Okay, but if they gave you a Brontosaurus and Wolverine slashing its long neck, would that be okay for you, or you're just?
Yeah.
Okay.
All I said was Wolverine versus dinosaur.
Okay. Quick question: do you ask for like sketch progresses or a thumbnail first? Okay, so you don't go that route. You don't.
I don't even like approving a thumbnail, generally speaking.
Okay.
If the artist wants it as part of the process and likes that part of, I'm happy to do it. But I'm happy to ask for what I want and then not see anything until I open the package.
Okay. All right.
Murdoch, I'm not sure I understand the question. Are you just asking whether it's bad form to provide references, like visual reference to your desired artist? Is that what you're asking? Because I would think that
in a case like that, you would definitely have to provide.
Right. That's my point exactly. Because if that's what you mean,
a lot of artists, if the character has multiple costumes, they're going to ask you which one do you want, and for something so specific like that, if he's serious about asking that, then you're going to have to provide reference, and it's not bad form.
Yeah, no, exactly. I hope Murdoch, that's what you meant. The answer would be if you're going to ask for anything that's out of the ordinary, you definitely should be ready to provide the reference. And just keep in mind, even though I'm not a commission guy, I do know something about it. It's just because it's about human etiquette, really. Keep in mind that some artists, when they're at a show, they're there to make some money, to doing commissions, but they also want to keep it flowing, right? So some guys and gals, they're not gonna want to do things that require them to use reference because it slows them down a lot, and they just want to keep it going,
Yeah, they prefer doing a lot of the same characters that they used to, so they can make more money at the show. When I ask for Battle of the Planets, I have to provide reference for that, and I bring notebooks with me of character printouts, even for my Avengers sketchbook with the villains. If it's like the Wrecking Crew or somebody like that, you can't expect the artist off the top of their head
Right.
to draw somebody they haven't drawn in ages or if ever.
That's true.
I just wanted to touch upon the thing you brought up about different styles.
Yeah.
Asking that with regards to Battle of the Planets, it started to get a little stale to me in my sketchbook, where a lot of the artists were drawing it like the animated cartoon. So I started asking, can you do like a Japanese watercolor treatment to this? And I would provide reference of what I was talking about, but I wanted different techniques and different styles, especially with artists that I've known for a while that were open to doing something different. And sometimes they would say, oh, let me bring this home and work on it for you, where, I can spend more time on it. And like you were saying, Ruben, then they can get other, commissions done that weekend, as opposed to a more time-consuming one that I'm asking for.
Yeah. Well put. That's smart. So Jason says, before he gets a commission, or at least the price of your commission, he Googles the artist to drawing the character, just to see what they've done with them before. So that's an easy way to also if you're not sure.
I've done that as well.
Yeah, you want to get an idea of what it might look like. Oh, Google's it could be your best friend, So definitely do a little bit of research. It pays for sure, Visual references. So not everyone is going to know the rockabilly or 80s prom dress styles. Right. Yeah, exactly. So the things that we were saying earlier in reference to your question, Murdoch, is yes. I mean, provide it because think about what's going to happen. If you say, Joe Blow, I really love your stuff. Could you do me a commission? Yeah, sure. What'd you want me to do? Oh, I'd like to have Rogue and doing the rockabilly, in 1950s rockabilly. They might say, they might immediately say no. They might immediately say no. There's a good chance they will. But if they see, if you're already holding your reference in your hand, I would approach it more like, hey, listen, out of curiosity, do you do out of the norm commissions, And then when they look at you and say, what do you mean? You've got it in your hands already. So, I got these rockabilly pictures, from the 50s, blah, blah, blah. And I just wouldn't mind doing a Rogue, but kind of dressed like that. So, yeah, you should always come prepared for sure.
Hey, Ruben, can I jump on that for a second?
Of course.
Speaking of Rogue, you just reminded me of back in 1992, I went to a New York show and Adam Hughes was there. And my ex-girlfriend was with me, and she wanted a Rogue sketch, right? So at the time, this is right before Jim Lee took over the book, and Rogue had a couple of different outfits. So Adam says to her, what outfit do you want on Rogue? And she's like, whatever you want to do, you choose, right? So we kept walking by his table throughout the show, and he's got his board up, his eyes over the board, and he keeps looking over at us. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And he's drawing, and he's looking up at us. And then when she went to pick up the sketch, he drew Rogue wearing the same outfit that my ex-girlfriend was wearing that day.
That's funny.
So I guess that's the ultimate reference, right? In person.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, whatever it takes. But I my biggest advice as far as that reference stuff goes, always be prepared. So you, Newell, Mr. Stingray, yeah, you're saying most of these people, they don't even know who the hell he is. I understand that I'm not surprised. I would say though, and you've done well so far, but I would still say, because I don't know if you do or not, but my advice to you though, if you're not doing it already, you definitely, of all people, should always be carrying around at least one good pinup style image of Stingray's costume, so that once you ask, hey, do you know Stingray, or can you do Stingray, you can quickly show them, can you do this guy? You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, I've spoken to artists about this topic, and one of the things that they dislike the most is when commission collectors ask them for
Ratman.
Right. Characters that are not, are not very well known, so they're not familiar with, and not even because, I don't really want to do an unfamiliar character, but they hate it because they've told me a lot of these guys, they're not even carrying the reference with them to show me what it looks like. So they expect me to just start, getting on my phone and Googling and wasting time looking for the, it's like, nah, man. Like I tell them no right away, just because I want to get stuff done, right? I don't want it to slow me down. But some artists have told me they'll do unknown characters if you're ready and prepared, and the person has the reference with them. They're like, no, some of them say, I'm happy to do it. They just don't want to be wasting time having to do the work. That's the commissioner who should be doing the work, right? Of being prepared with the reference, having the reference ready. So, good evening, Evgeny. Look at speaking of a commission artist. Yeah. So that's my thing to you, Stingray. If you don't already do it, I would say definitely you got to do it. How many times when you pick up commission sketch from the artist, you're disappointed? Ask you how you like. Out of curiosity, I was going to touch on something related, but good, quick question. If you guys can handle this quickly, so we don't get off track. You know what? Okay, you know what? No, I want to stay on track. Sorry, Peter. Stick around, Peter, because one of my questions later
is answered already in the comments.
Yeah,
okay.
I answered it already.
Okay, well, I'm still going to ask later anyways.
You say thank you, take it, be gracious, and then sell it.
Okay. There we
Flipperama, people.
Oh, what else?
I've had a few of those over the years.
Yeah, I would imagine. So there you go. Make it official. And so let's see. Boy, it's hard to get through the comments when you guys are doing so much silliness, Let me see. Even if the artist asks me for
only
reference,
serious comments, guys.
I direct them to my Instagram. If they don't,
Or just about Stingray. That's it.
Do their homework. Okay, Stingray. Okay. Hey, it's like I said, it's working for you. Do what you want. What can I tell you? Let's see what I'll say. Thank you, Peter. All right. Okay.
Next question, Ruben. Next question.
I'm putting together a collection of all rooms, levels of the Dragon's Lair arcade game. Wow. Each room by a different artist. Wow. See,
Nice.
that's talking about themes. That's a theme, Dan. Wow. That's wild. How many layers are there? How many rooms, I guess, rooms or levels or whatever. There's got to be, isn't there like dozens and dozens? Wow. That's pretty wild. Take that anime. Yeah, that's an awesome one. Going to get to the point that if an artist Googles Stingray, the first thing they'll see is one of Newell's commissions. That's true. If it's not already happening, right? As for a Dredd character, that's why you emailed me when you saw that Mike Perkins had done some Judge Dredd pages. Okay. So you happen to be a Judge Dredd fan. I see. Okay. Difficult to manage, but everyone wants to do the Princess or the Dragon. Oh, that's true. That's going to be tough, because if they don't want to do that, it's going to be tough to get them to want to do the stuff that, everything else besides that is a lot less interesting. I mean, from an artistic perspective, I would think,
Maybe that's the commission theme you got to go with, Dragon or Princess, and change your, direction.
But he's trying to go for 40. Like he said, he's trying to go for 40 pieces total, but he wants to do all the levels.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Well, you know what, Dan? Go for it. It's not.
Yeah, I wonder if that's even going to work, man. But Dan, good luck, man. Good luck. I think it's going to be challenging for sure.
Dan, are you going to frame each one or put them consecutively next to each other? How are you going to present them? That's my question.
I would
framing.
say, portfolio for sure. What's up, Derek? I have a printout that has 4 distinct images of Maxima in the Perez costume I prefer. There you go. There you go. Do that. That's the best way. One of the unintended consequences of the images is that 2 out of the 4 involve water. So that element has been incorporated into many of the commissions. Oops. Well, just tell them. Just forget the water. Just look at the costume. Forget the water. You did a great Dredd recently. I told everybody last week. And it's not a marriage. Oh boy. Be gracious. Good advice. Yes, exactly. Note of being prepared. I wonder how artists feel about having your own artboard paper. How many are happy if you provide?
As long as there's not a texture on the paper, I think they're fine with it.
That's the thing. It depends what tools they have.
A lot of those blank covers have like a coating on it.
Yeah.
And artists hate that.
Yeah.
The ink smear and everything.
Yeah. Because depending on what tools they have, if the ink doesn't take to the paper, they're not going to be happy and they're not going to want to do it. So you may be nice and think you're doing them a favor, and in a sense you are, by providing the paper. But if they don't like it, if they don't like the way their tools, work on the paper, they're just going to tell you probably that, nah, it's not going to work.
Years ago, I saw one guy bring parchment paper to the con, and he had Brian Stelfreeze do a painting on that, but he had to like roll it out, keep it flat. Came out really nice though.
I'm going to think of bringing bark next time.
Yeah.
That's the key. Look, Dan insists.
Scrimshaw.
Dan insists.
Clay tablets. Come on, clay tablets. Come on.
Your theme's gonna work, Dan. I'm hoping the best for you, and I'm wishing you luck, man. Pictures of Nissan. Oh boy. Okay. Joker. Robert Berman. Good evening, by the way. Why do they print blank covers on such slick paper? Yeah, exactly. Knowing that the artist wants something more tooth. Exactly. I know. It's one of the stupid things they do. I asked the same thing. I don't know why. Yeah.
But there's a wide variety of the kind of blank covers that you get. And then you have some artists like Frank Cho who are just only working on blank covers. Or Baco, who's working on the comic backing board of all things, which is insane.
But Mikail, but you don't get a choice. Like they may have been printed over the years on different
you don't get a choice. I'm just saying all artists have different opinions about the book until they hold it in their hands and they check it out.
I mean, those backing boards have coatings on them sometimes too.
Yeah, they do. They 100% they do. They're terrible. I don't know how.
And markers are going to smear like crazy on there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. See, Yevgeny here, he does his commissions. He says, I enjoy working on smooth paper. Lucky me. All right.
Next question.
Each their own. But yeah. Okay. So let me get to the next one, everybody. And so this is going to be about commissioning, etiquette, and strategy.
This is going to go south real quick.
It's like the boardroom, Ruben. You have to assert yourself. You have to be dominant. You have to let that artist know you mean fucking business. That's the only way to get a good result.
It's your money.
That's fucking right.
I just cringed a little bit.
The show for tonight. You got your
eyes out of here.
If you see the artist get up to go to a bathroom break,
smack him
down. Your ass down. You didn't finish my commission yet. There'll be time for that later.
They love it. Artists love reminders. They love you just checking in and keeping them on task, as my 11-year-old daughter needs to be kept on task. So, just feel free to do that. They love it.
And touching them overly.
The touching is good. Putting your stuff on the table.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, they really love when you knock their stuff over on the table accidentally. That always goes over well.
Yeah, drink some of their coffee that it's on the table. Just take it. That's domineering. That's the dominance that you want them to feel every day.
Okay, so we've learned what not to do at a convention.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I want each of you, if you can. I know it's going to be tough. Because briefly, that's the tough part.
Yeah, tough.
I was hoping each of you could give us all your best and your worst experiences with artists communicating specifically. So I'm not talking about what was your the best and then the worst experience getting a commission. A lot of people don't want to talk about the negative aspect of that, right? But I mean specifically experiences with communication with the artist. So the greatest experience you remember, like, oh my God, the communication was so great. And then one where it was like, that was the main problem. The communication sucked. If you could each, give us best, worst, you can think of anyone that comes to mind, whatever.
All right. My best one was obviously Mike Avon. He would keep me in touch every week. I mean, he would send me thumbnails. He would send me progress. He said, is there anything you want me to change? Wow. I would say, that was the thing about Mike. Mike was very accommodating, and I love him for that. I was part of that commission, going through the beginning to the end. I knew what was coming, so the surprise wasn't there. But I was satisfied at the end, without any kind of negative feeling. The other one.
How long was that though? How long was that, Art?
A month. He would take about 3 weeks
so
at the most.
It was quick. So
yeah, it was quick. When I was commissioning him, it was a year before he became Powers a guy. Okay, so it was 98, 99 kind of thing. So he was he needed the money. He was so he was very much not in demand because people weren't seeing his talent back then.
He was
not until underestimated, and his value wasn't there with the mainstream comic readers. But when Powers hit, everybody was like jumping in the bandwagon. And then Mike told me, he's like, I can't do any more commissions, Art. I got other things. So I'm like, all right, that's fine. Yeah, but I got a lot of commissions through him. And
awesome.
He was always very accommodating. And the worst communication was a no-name artist.
Wow.
That was mostly in animation. And he took my money. I sent it to him. He sent me pictures, or a picture, or a sketch. It was a sketch. Then 6 months later, nothing. 8 months later, nothing. About a year later, he says, "Oh, I owe you this thing, right?" So he showed me the final piece, and he says, "I'm going to put it in the mail today." Did not. I didn't see anything for a month. Tried to contact him. He would not respond.
Wow.
There was no communication. And I'm not saying that you have to be a big name for me to want you to send it to me, but even this guy should have sent me something, right? We did a deal. The commission was paid for. Took a year for him to come back and say, hey, it's finished. And it was a Stargirl piece. It was just on a 8.5, 11. Nothing too crazy,
right?
But just you get frustrated with that feeling that you don't have control, which is one of the reasons why probably when I was commissioning, I was on the border of micromanaging sometimes because I would want updates. I didn't want silence between months and months of silence just because. Yes, everybody has a life. They have other things that goes on, but at least give me a 2-minute response saying, I'm working on it. Sorry, it's been busy. I'll get to it next week. Just simple things.
Yeah,
etiquette.
Everything.
Yeah, etiquette.
In any transaction of any kind, communicate. Digitally, obviously on the internet. Communication is the number one thing. It should be the number one thing.
And I asked for a estimated deadline of completion. If you tell me in 2 months it's going to be completed, I'm going to hold you to that.
Right.
If it goes beyond a week or two, I'll be okay with it. But by that time, I'm like, hey, you promised me this. Please finish it. If you can't, I want my money back. And then they say, oh, I spent the money already. I don't have your money. It's like, well, that's not my problem. We made a deal. We had a verbal contract. Even it's in the emails or on the phone, whatever. But etiquette is on both sides, not just the commissioner, but also the commissionee.
Absolutely. Mikail, Rich, either one of you, take your turn.
Go ahead, Mikail.
All right. On the good end, it's definitely like these gents are saying. It's the artists who communicate well. And there's a wide spectrum of that. So there's one commissioning experience that I had with this artist, Paul Himenko. And he, like I said, I give very little feedback generally when I commission. We had this long email exchange. And by the time I received the email, I think we had exchanged over 50 emails by the time I received the commission, the finalized commission. But it wasn't tedious. It sounds tedious, but it wasn't. It was a lot of him just asking questions and asking for feedback, asking opinions. And it was a very back and forth relationship, and it felt really comfortable. And so I was really happy with the end result. So that's one end of the spectrum. And you could have there's other artists that I would hold up to be just as good because they communicated in a clear, concise manner, and they delivered on what they were saying. So it could be like with Paul, where we had a ton of emails back and forth as the project progressed, or it could be an artist who said, I sent them an email or an Instagram message asking about rates or whatever, and they send me back an email with very clearly stated their rates for different permutations of a commission, what their current wait list is like, what their estimate on the timeline is, how to pay them. Like it's clear, it's easy, and then they stick to it. They execute on what they said. So these are two examples of great experiences that, and any artist that manages that, I put them in the top tier. And then at the bottom of the tier, or in terms of a bad experience, is what you're talking about, where you're being ghosted. The artist just is not like,
well, it's either typically it's either ghosting or constant like they're
lying.
I think
I don't know. For me, the most egregious is just not even replying. Right?
Yeah, I don't know which one I hate more.
Yeah, I can see how the lying would get.
I think the lies
upsetting
more.
is
but
like Corey says he prefers not to have updates, and it shows up, right? That's fine. What if it's been 3 years, Corey, and you haven't heard diddly squat from this artist?
Yeah.
And then I've one thing that's happening a little bit more often is that the reps are not fulfilling their duties as a rep.
Right.
If I've commissioned an artist through a rep, and
I want names,
it's a big name, right? And and I understand now. I'll understand. Okay, I'm going into it. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. But I feel like any commission through a rep, at the very minimum, send me an email every 6 months.
Yeah, right.
Saying hey, I'm on top of this, or hey, so and so's, so just give me some bullshit. So appreciative for the offer. They're busy with their XYZ book, but they haven't forgotten about you. I haven't forgotten about you, right?
Yeah.
Do that, and it'll keep me at least a little bit engaged and a little bit happier. But if you're resting on, I'm going to deliver it when it gets done, and this is not just one person. This is like at least 3 of the major reps that I've worked with have done something where a commission has gone into the years, and there's nothing from them until I push back, until I ask.
Right,
Mikail.
I think that's a little bit egregious.
Mikail, do you prepay for the full amount, or are you able to do like half and half?
Well, that depends on every artist, and we're going to talk about that. So we'll get to that after. Yeah.
I'm looking to the future, Ruben. I'm psychic.
Yeah. I know. We're going to get to it, though. Yeah. I'm going to ask about that. But yeah, that's the thing, though, Mikail. When I hear of all my friends telling me, like all these crazy stories of, it's been 6 months, it's been 2 years, it's been whatever, and since that, like, it's like, wow, you've been waiting 6 months for your commission already, and oftentimes it's like, no, that's just how long it's been since he last communicated with me, and it's like, what? Oh God. And it's in those moments where I think, you know what? It's not even a question. It's like, it's one of the two things. It's either they're just completely irresponsible and they have literally forgotten about you, or they haven't forgotten about you, but they just really don't give a shit. They're just like, whatever. I'm not in the mood to do this, so I'm just going to keep blowing this guy off. Either one pisses me off. But yeah, it's both of them. So I feel for you guys.
And any commission you've had to fight for a little bit has some of the sheen taken off it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's a bad experience.
Absolutely.
It's like it's similar to when you buy a actual art page from the artist, right? This is not a commission. I'm talking about art page, and they say they'll send it in the mail tomorrow, right? But you don't see anything for a week. You email them, nothing, and then in 2 weeks they say, "Oh, you know what? I forgot to send it to you." I was like, "It's been 2 weeks. What the hell?" There's an etiquette there as well that should be established, right? Just like with commissions,
You always have to ask them for the tracking number.
You do.
Wait,
I do.
That
I
lights a little fire there of it cuts out the bullshit, you know.
But they use the okay, I've got a bill to pay, or I might have medical something, or which I understand. I'm not saying that those aren't valid excuses, but if you cannot do it, please just say, hey, I could not get to the mailbox. I'm just gonna do it next week. Is that cool? And then I will get you a tracking number, and then that's cool. But if they just keep pushing it back and back, that's just the same as lying for a commission.
Mm.
Yeah.
But Tom, you wouldn't wait 2 years for anyone?
It's just wrong to wait 2 years. Like I'm with him. I think it's outrageous.
If you go into it kind of knowing, and it's the artist that's how long it's going to take.
No. I know.
If you're getting it's 12 by 12, 11 by 17 Walter Simon, gigantic mass. Wait as long as it takes.
Actually, no, not for us old guys, Mikail.
Running out of time.
We don't have enough. We're running out of time. Okay, we've got only a certain amount of time to enjoy that piece of artwork. Then we're gone.
Yeah.
But also too, some of the older artists like Walt, they have a reputation of they will follow through, so that there's no real fear there of not getting it. And to jump on my best experiences with artists, a lot of them were seasoned professionals. When I dealt with John Byrne, it was a great experience. Neil Adams, Bob McLeod, all these guys, not only did they keep the communication open, either directly or through their rep, but their turnaround time was impeccable. I find with a lot of the newer artists, some of them don't have that same work ethic, or I've known artists that they'll take your money for a commission, and then they're working on somebody else's that was paid after yours, and that kind of creates bad feelings. But I've had 2 experiences where the artist didn't come through. One was a year and a half I waited. Thankfully, I was still able to do a PayPal chargeback. And one was 6 years where I had to get the money back from the guy.
Focus in on the communication aspect, though. Give us an example of like a great communication plus a really bad one.
Great communication is you don't have to chase them down. They let you know regularly, like where they're at, and if they have another project they have to jump on, they let you know that. They'll be like, I have to take care of this. This deadline is due, but I'm going to get to yours right after that. Bad experiences are when an artist, I've literally had them show me a scan of the finished piece, and then we go through the dance of, I'm going to mail it tomorrow, I'm going to mail it next week, still haven't mailed it yet, had to take my dog to the vet, I was up all night, whatever.
My dog ate it.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of use like mafia references at that point from like Goodfellas, where they say, fuck you, pay Paulie, oh, the dog died, fuck you, pay Paulie, I really don't care at this point. But a couple of artists I've had to like stay on top of, like I was their teacher or something, treating them like a child, but it got the art to me eventually. But like I said, two artists had every excuse in the book, and thankfully I was able to do a chargeback and get the art, the money back. But good experiences, the artist sends you prelims. Sometimes they ask for your input. Do you like this? Do you want me to change something? Just you can tell when an artist is very professional, that they're reliable. You don't have to worry. And generally, I don't like to pay the full price up front because of some bad experiences. I'd rather negotiate with them and say, can I give you half up front or whatever? Whenever they ask for all the money up front, it's kind of like makes me feel a little queasy.
For sure. By the way, just want to let you guys in the chat know, should have mentioned it earlier, I apologize. Some of you have asked some good questions, but again, I don't want to get sidetracked. But just know I'm bookmarking some of the comments and questions, so that if we do have time to get to them, I'll get them at, probably at the end. All right, so just so you know. All right, so let's keep it rolling. And next thing that I wanted to get to is called, or as I call it, the thrill of the reveal. Okay, and so okay, first let me ask you guys really quickly, just first of all, yes or no, a yes or no question.
No.
When you guys have done
Maybe
through the mail commissions, have you done any where you pay it, they eventually finish it, and they send it to you without them showing you anything?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, because these days a lot of people tell me like, oh yeah, he or she sends me the prelims. So I kind of know what it's already going to look like, whatever, blah blah blah. And then what I hear even more often is, oh, he or she finished the commission, and so they sent me the scans, And it's funny because for me, if it was me, I'd be like, I don't want to see it because I've already paid for it anyways. So I feel like I would rather be surprised and let me find out what it looks like once it gets into my hands, once the package is delivered.
You know what pisses me off even more?
What's that?
When they post it on social media.
Oh yeah. And that was brought up. That was one of the things that was brought up. Let me just see quickly if it was one of the things that I had
Bookmarked.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's a little annoying. Like.
Yeah, so that was Jason, right? So I don't have it here, but he had said, yeah, do you like that, or do you care when they finish it and they post it immediately before you even have it? To me, that's really annoying. Because the thing about commissions is that it's such a personal thing, right? They're creating the art just for you. But, so you would think, hey, at least can you give it to me and ask me if it's okay to post it? Like maybe I don't even want it posted at all. How about that? Like maybe I don't even want to post it by myself. So why would I want you posting it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, some people like that. They don't want their pieces posted.
I
have a longtime friend that he's been collecting art for about 25 years now. He does not have a single piece of his online, whether it's published or commissioned. He keeps off the grid. Yeah, I mean, there's a line. The artist should ask on some point. I mean, yeah, it's their art; they can do what they want with it. But you are a paying customer, so your input could be appreciated.
Right. So my question, my ultimate question to the thrill of the reveal is the reason I asked you whether you guys have received stuff without knowing at all what it's going to look like is because if you did, I was hoping that you could all, each of you, the three of you guys could share with us all an example of what is perhaps the most, and I specifically chose this word, emotional, the most, if it has ever happened, the most emotional moment you may have ever remembered experiencing upon opening a commission at home. And if not emotional, I don't know, exciting, I guess, super happy, whatever, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I've never had that. Honestly, for me, it's like, first off, I don't, what was that?
You're frozen.
Yeah, your picture's frozen.
Oh, okay.
That's weird.
You gotta pay that cable bill.
Yeah, I guess so. I will be back. Hold on.
No. You want me to kick you out and bring you back in?
Yeah, kick me out.
Yeah, let me do that. Let me see if that works. All right.
There you go.
There
we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I was going to say that first off, the what is it? The social media thing. I don't mind if the artist posts it, honestly, because because it's their art and they want to share it with people. I understand some people don't want that out in the public, but for me, more people see it, the more excitement can be created for the piece or for the artist itself. I think that's a good thing for the artist. As far as the emotional, I've never had anything that I've gotten that I'm like, oh my God, this is the most greatest piece or even half greatest piece, because even if I haven't seen the final product, I'm going to enjoy it the same as the one that I see until the end. So for me, it's kind of
you've never received one out of all the commissions you've done, and you've done a lot.
Yeah, I've done a lot.
You don't remember ever receiving one that it so far exceeded what you were expecting that it made you really happy?
No.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe I'm dead inside. I don't know.
You might be dead inside. All right, Mikail, Rich, you guys?
Go ahead, Rich.
Anything come to mind?
I mean, when I got my first commission from George Perez, that meant a lot to me, because growing up as a kid, he was like one of my favorite artists. And when he finally had like a commission list online, that was like a dream come true for me. And then you run into the problem of I can finally ask him for something. What do I ask for? It's like 10, 20 years of wanting something, trying to narrow it down. But as far as like the finished product, the John Byrne piece blew me away. I mean, John, he rocked it. I mean, more than I could ever hope for.
This is a perfect time excuse for us to maybe show it. Should we show it since you're talking about it right now?
Sure.
Excellent. All right, check this out, everybody. Look at that to make it a little bit bigger. Look at that. So that's a quad, right?
Yeah, it's actually on two pieces of board.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It was supposed to be 4 pieces, 11 by 17 each.
Yeah.
And here's a case where John emailed me through his rep, and he said, I drew the first 2 on the same board. It was just easier to draw that way. Do you want me to cut it into 2 pieces or leave it? And he gave me that choice, and I said, leave it. It wasn't something I was asking for or thinking of, but it came out better. So it's 2 separate pieces. They connect. And this was a case of this piece where originally I was going to ask John for like a montage of like one character. He was doing those at the time where, one central character with like scenes around them from their history. And then I had this idea for the Avengers where originally it was going to be 3 pieces and I was going to have 3 different artists do like an interlocking piece. So my dream team was Byrne, Perez, and Walt Simonson. And then logistically, it was like trying to get that done. It's never going to happen. So when Byrne was open to commissions, I just had him do the entire piece. And then we picked and chose what characters to put in there. And like I said, he knocked it out of the ballpark. It was more than I could have hoped or dreamed for.
It's fabulous. I needed to really quickly address this. I just came upon Robert's comment here that one of the other pet peeves is when they not only post it publicly before you even get it sent to you, but when they post it in their CAF gallery, literally in their CAF gallery. I agree with that. That's really, really annoying when I see that. Yeah. So thanks for that one, Robert. But amazing piece. Sorry, remind me, this was done when, Rich?
2009.
And
right. And the cool thing about this was it was a gateway for me to actually go to John's house with his rep to pick it up in person because it was so large. There was, concern about packing it and shipping it. So it just worked out that I was able to go up there with his rep, and John gave me like a tour of his house and everything. It was really cool.
Rich, how long did it take?
John was super, super quick. I think he did this in a couple of days. Like he is like lightning fast.
Oh wow!
And when I went up to his house, I brought my sketchbook with me, and I asked Jim Warden. I said, "Is John open to doing a quick sketch for me in my book?" And he's like, ask him. It depends on, how he's feeling today or whatever. And the sketch that he did in my book took him, I want to say 10 minutes. Like the man is lightning. Like at one point he was doing 3 team books for Marvel. He was drawing the FF, X-Men, and Avengers all at the same time. So the guy is super quick, and the detail didn't suffer at all in this piece. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, that looks like it took like a year.
No, he did this in a matter of days. I think he said it took 1 day to pencil and maybe 1 day to ink. And I had wanted to follow up with him to do other groups, like a montage like this, with them running forward with the rubble and all that. I wanted to do like an X-Men and the Defenders and all that, and it just never happened. Either I didn't have the funds or he stopped doing commissions. But I'm very happy with this piece.
Yeah, you should be. It's stunning. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, can you imagine what it would cost to commission this today if he was available?
Well, I've seen the price of the ones that dealers have been selling.
Right.
And, they're astronomical.
Not only that, it's just if you got an artist like somebody new to do this, they'd charge you like 10 grand.
Yeah. CJ, to answer your question, after someone recently showed the Barney Rubble in the rubble, I've thought to go back and look at the art to see if it's hidden in there somewhere. It might be. I've never seen it. And Tom, to answer your question, I don't know if I want to go down the rabbit hole of Marvel props. It's crossed my mind, but I don't know. I collect too many things already.
Yeah. Jason's telling you, Mikail, more chat participation, please. You're too quiet.
Just drinking in this masterpiece. I mean, Jesus Christ. So, Rich, you said it was originally supposed to be in 4 11x17s, but is it 2 11x17s horizontally?
It's 2 pieces of 17 by 22.
Oh, okay. So it's the same size you wanted. Just
He just didn't cut the boards down the middle,
which is good because you don't want that.
Yeah, he left that up to me, and I was like, no, that's actually cool. Leave it. I never had pieces that big before, and I still don't have room to frame this piece. So one day.
How do you store it then?
This is in a portfolio.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Can you ship it to my house? I'll take care of it for you, Rich.
Well, I would, Mark, but I heard you're out of the hobby, so.
Oh, you know what? I'm right back in the hobby right now. Screw the whole thing.
just when you thought you were out, they pulled
Piece
you back
26 and 27.
Yeah, there you go. See, Mikail came back.
All right,
I'm always here. Always watching, always waiting for questions.
Yeah, the zingers. He's got the zingers, okay?
So going with the same, keeping with the same sort of theme of the question I just asked about, your most sort of emotional experience getting something. I kind of want to go, do a 180 and kind of go the opposite way. Has it ever happened to you where have you ever freaked out or felt hugely disappointed when you received the commission that you didn't know at all what it was going to look like? And if so, how did you handle it?
Yep. I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, whatever.
Dave Taylor from Britain.
Okay.
I commissioned him. I asked for a Supergirl. I gave him exactly the costume. I gave him pictures, like numerous ones. I said, I would like this pose, and it's a forced perspective, and please do this. He's like, no problem. I've got you. This is it. A year later, I don't receive any kind of information from him after numerous emails. I contact somebody that knows him, Jean Lafleur, some guy in France that has dealt with him. So this gentleman contacted Dave Taylor, and got him to send me the piece. When I get it, I open it up, and it looks like a Mobius piece because it's all just line drawing of Supergirl just standing straight with like a desert scene in the background. Nothing, there's no blacks, there's nothing interesting about it. There's no forced perspective. The costume is not even the costume I requested. Wow. It is a generic costume that David put there. And yeah, it was god awful. And I didn't know about it. This was the one that was a surprise that truly tore me up.
That's hugely disappointing.
Right,
yeah.
Because after asking him if he could do it all, and him agreeing to all my requests and all the little micromanaging, if you call it that, and saying yes to it, he gives me something that is just completely 180 out of the,
Yeah.
Pissed me off. That's why I'm out of the market.
Mikail, how about you? I know you've told me privately that pretty much most of your commission experiences have been positive, but yeah, I think
everything's been pretty good.
But
well, understand, I'm not even getting you to. I'm not trying to get you to say like a bad experience with an artist, just where you were like the experience could have been good, right? The process of getting it, the communication and all that. I'm just saying specifically focused on, oh, I'm sending you your thing. Okay, excellent, thank you. Here's your tracking number. Great. And then it arrives. Oh yeah, you're all excited, and you open it, and it's like, what the fuck is that? Like that kind, that kind of a like, what is this? Like that kind of anything like that ever happen?
No, honestly, nothing that really stands out.
Okay, no worries.
Particularly, I think under the level of like $200, there's been a couple of clunkers.
Okay,
but at the higher levels, nothing that I've opened it up and been like, wow, this is a turd. It's a fucking turd in a paper bag that I just.
All right, Mikhail's cursing. Yes, finally.
No worries. What about you, Rich?
I actually have a funny story that happened to a friend of mine recently in like the last year. He commissioned an artist to do a panel page for him with specific characters. And I guess he got a little overbearing with the artist, like bugging him and micromanaging and all that.
Was this Michael Golden?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It could have been, but it wasn't.
It could have been, yes.
But he finally got the page in the mail, and the artist, to piss him off, drew penises on every single character.
What?
And he showed me the page, and he was livid. He was like losing his mind. He's like,
I would post that on social media. Totally.
I said, dude, you have an historic piece now. I mean, the artist has since passed away, but
so name him.
No, I don't.
Oh, come on. Okay, privately.
Okay. But when he showed me that, I didn't want to laugh, but I was like, that's pretty funny that he got so pissed off at you. He drew penises on everyone.
Does he still have that piece?
Yeah, he still has the piece.
Wow.
And then what happened was I ran into this friend at a show last year, and he commissioned another artist who's a friend of ours. And I was like, you got to do me a favor. When you send him a prelim of the piece, you got to draw a big penis on the front of the character and see how he takes it. But
hey, Rich, Robert's saying that he's heard that story. Does it have to do with Micronauts?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It reminds me of I don't know if you guys have heard about the angry girlfriend variant of ASM 14. reminds me of that.
No, what's that all about?
This guy had a copy of ASM 14, like and he broke up with his girlfriend or pissed her off, so she like just scribbled all over it with marker. And then so it's been slabbed, and it's known as the angry girlfriend variant.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
Only on social media.
Hopefully that guy still owns it though, right?
Who knows?
Oh man, that is funny. That's so funny. Okay. Micro Naughty. Hey Marvin, what's good, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in, man. Rich Buckler for the win. Oh, is it Rich Buckler? Oh, okay.
No.
Well, we don't want to go there.
It's just John Byrne, and Rich doesn't want to say it. No.
No.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to get to, guys, is what I call for this evening.
Your titles are such winners.
The waiting game. A waiting game. You knew this was going to come up. This topic was bound to come up, obviously, right? So that's cool.
This is like the crying game, right?
Well, the thing is that the waiting game, as you know,
It's like the Squid Game.
It can often turn into the crying game. That's the thing.
6 years.
But no, I just kind of wanted to ask, I guess, kind of two-part question, like, how long, if there is a kind of, number in your head, if there isn't, just, tell us that there's no number really, but how long are you willing to wait? And I guess you guys might as well add in, like, what's the longest you've ever waited for anything to be completed and delivered?
6 years.
I've got like 20 years, and I've forgotten about them because they're never going to show up.
Okay, no. So
you're talking about commissions that come in, right?
Yeah, where there's still some level of communication to where they keep dragging it out and stringing you along, that still counts. If you haven't heard from these people in 7 years, okay, you need to stop telling people that I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm like 7 or 8 is what.
You're not waiting.
Yeah.
That guy forgot about you, and he's never going to give you your thing. So you know what I mean?
I would say 7, 8 years for mine. I gave up after that.
Okay.
Yep. But
my patience has become shorter as I've gotten older. So seriously, like if there's no communication, I won't even wait a year. Like I don't want to play games with PayPal. Like I want to get the charge back in there. So,
but what if there was monthly communication, but that the 6 month period is coming up, and based on his previous messages, it ain't going to be ready to be shipped to you before the 6 month limit is up? Then what do? Do you let it keep going, or do you say, look? Do you tell them like, listen, I'm going to do the PayPal reversal on you unless you give me proof that you shipped it out on this day?
I cut my losses.
I mean, there's definitely reputations in the hobby. So some people are very reputable and some people are not. So you got to know who you're dealing with. And with the internet nowadays, there's a few artists I've never commissioned that I know to stay clear of because there's a pattern of not delivering. So, if it's somebody reputable that, they got other projects on the table, that's fine. Those people I'll give the benefit of the doubt. But if it's somebody that's got a bad reputation, I'm going to steer clear, Yeah.
Cut your losses and walk away, because the drama and the hate you feel, like Marcus said, is not worth it. I mean, you spent, let's say, $500 on the commission. Let's give a round number. It doesn't mean that money isn't valuable to you. It's just, do you want to month after month get angrier and angrier for something that is not going to show up? It's like a carrot on a stick, and the carrot is just getting smaller.
Yeah.
Well, Ruben, here's an example of someone that has a good reputation, but they're known for taking a long time. I mean, Arthur Adams, okay?
Right.
My friend waited, I think, 4 years for 4 or 5 years for a commission from, but he was good for it. You know, in fact, we saw him at a show, and my friend had given him a blank sketch cover, and Arthur literally took it out of his portfolio. He still had the cash in the back of the comic that my friend had given him. Like, he didn't even take the cash out. And, you know, at this point, 4 or 5 years later, his rates were a lot higher, and he was still honoring the original price.
Well, yeah, but he better. He better. I mean, oh my God!
But like I said, he was honorable with it, and you know,
come on.
I mean, he has a reputation for taking a while, but he delivered. You know, so someone like that's got a good rep that comes through, you're not as worried as opposed to somebody that, you know, has left debris in their trail, you know, so to speak.
Yeah, totally. Mikail, how about you, man? What's the longest you've had to wait yourself?
I've got 2 going on 5 years now.
Wow, 2 of them.
Ouch.
Both are through reps. One has stopped replying. And
One stopped replying.
one is not replying anymore.
Wow.
You're talking about the rep is not replying?
The rep is not replying anymore.
Okay.
And the rep is very communicative. And
wow.
I'm considering. I asked for my money back, and
oh, nice. Okay.
I was told that pencil had been put to paper
without a picture.
So I gave them a couple more months, and I'm in the process of like just having to decide, like,
yeah,
if I ask again, I will get my money back.
Right.
So, you know.
Okay. At least
do you anticipate your enthusiasm for this commission to stay high, or is it kind of dwindling? Like
it's already dwindled.
Okay, so if I could recommend from past bad experiences, the numerous ones that I've had, cut your losses. It's you move on to the next person that you are going to be happy with, you know.
Right.
And I'm not saying what you should do. I'm just giving you a recommendation because
I understand completely, and
you need to kind of get into your mindset that, okay, if I promised you that I'd go buy you a can of Coke, and it takes me 6 months to bring you that can of Coke, and you live down the street, that's going to make that can of Coke really bitter to you, right?
What if you come back with an 8-ball? And you're like,
I don't know. Maybe if if I bought 2 8-balls, I don't know. But here's the thing.
There are some artists that when they do deliver years later, they've added a lot more to your piece.
But can you count on that 100%? You cannot. You cannot say that this artist, I've been on the hook for 5 years or whatever it is, I'm going to get the best damn product from them.
And the thing is that it's supposed to be like the highest tier, right? Like a cover quality.
Yeah, well, cover
blah,
quality.
Blah, blah. So how much more stunning could it be, right?
I mean, my friend just had an instance like that where he was waiting. It was either 10 or 14 years from a well-known artist, and he kept reminding him. They kept having communication, and when he finally got the piece, not only did the artist honor the original price from years ago, he gave him a cover quality piece. So it does happen.
But that's a minority.
No, it does. So what's going to happen with me? Like, if they came back and like I opened the package and it's an 18 by 24, that would maybe go part of the way towards explaining, like, assuaging my.
But that's a dream, Mikail.
I'm just giving you a scenario.
It's all a dream. Yeah, I know.
What's going to happen is it's going to be an 11 by 17, and every time I look at it, I'm going to be like, they disrespected me by not addressing it, by not doing it, by not communicating with me.
Right.
And until I pushed.
Right. But the artist or the artist rep hasn't given you any indication that's going to happen. So more than likely, you're not going to get that.
And again, that's always a bonus, right? Yes, sometimes an artist says, Yeah, I'll throw in a little.
That's a
something
wish
extra.
list thing. I mean,
Right.
we're all deluding ourselves if we say, "Oh, you know what? They'll come through for me." Well, guess what? It's not the case. I mean,
But-
it's like getting the
yeah.
lottery, right?
No,
I mean,
I agree
yeah.
with everything. And to Ruben's larger point, I'm in my collecting experience, where I am now, I'm drawing the line at like 12 to 18 months. And that depends on communication and the complexity of the project. Like Ruben, the Lord of the Rings piece, that was a long time, but that was a very involved piece. It's an oil painting. It takes a month just to freaking dry. So
That's beauty.
I'll give it time if it warrants it. But yeah, I'm at the point now.
How long was that one, Mikail? How long was that one?
That was
from payment till receipt of the painting.
10 months.
Wow, that's fast in today's market.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I'm going to draw the line at like 18 months. Is the max I will now wait going into a new commission, and unless I'm just like, oh my god, I've got to have that person, and I'll wait as long as if I can bring that mentality to it, fine, that's a different thing.
You know what? Look, I need to show this one. Can we show it now, Mikail?
It's your show. It's not my name. I'm not the.
No, I don't want to see it. I'm sorry, I don't want to see it.
No. But listen, guys. I mean, like all of you who are into this part of the hobby, right? The commission collecting. I think you will agree with me that when you see this, waiting 10 total months, and this is what you receive, I think you'll agree. This is like an amazing outcome. Check it out. Lord of the Rings. Look at this by Arantza Sestayo. Come on.
And it's large, it's oversized. She was abroad. It's in oil. And she kept in touch the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, that's even better. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So you got really lucky because that is an amazing piece. But will the next person that gets her have the same experience? I'm not trying to be a pessimist all the time, but I'm just trying to be the fly on the wall saying, hey, this might not happen again. Because Mikail, you got extraordinary taste in art, and this is great.
Well, I appreciate that, but I'd also like to think that a part of the end result comes from our dialogue, the process that we had deciding on the topic for the, we went through some permutations, and she gave me some options about what scenes from the trilogy that she thought about rendering. And I paid for it. It's not like this was a cheap piece.
No, I would imagine it wouldn't be. Yeah.
So
this was a little more than 200.
This was more than 200. Yeah. This was like
Yeah.
easily in the high three figures.
It's what? Sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
It's in the high three figures easily.
This was only high three figures?
No.
Oh, okay, geez.
He says easily. That's a difference.
Oh my God. Maybe not even just to pencil it, Oh my gosh. Yeah. So no, this is which one is Yoda? No, this is very cool, says Lee. So good, says James. Yes, sir. Why are they even walking? Can't they just fly on the giant birds?
It's been discussed, Marcus. Everybody knows why they could not fly directly into Mordor.
Oh,
because they get vertigo, right?
Right, and it's cold. They don't have oxygen masks.
Right, exactly. It's a environmental thing.
I had very little desire for commissions to begin with, but after getting a few, I have even less desire now. They will be very few and extremely far between. So that's what Scott says here. I guess that's somebody.
You're welcome, Scott.
Well, apparently he hasn't had all that many great experiences, so that's really what's happening.
Well, I'm probably one of the worst proponents for commission. Even though I've stopped, there's a reason why I've stopped. Not only because I cut my collection down, but also the thrill of a commission and the joy of receiving it has diminished by at least 80%. You know?
Wow.
It's not because I don't want to. Internally, I want to get a commission. I would love to get a nice commission, but I'm such a pessimist now because of the previous experiences. Plus, I hear now that some people that are getting, you know, these high numbers for the new guys, and then the new guys aren't fulfilling it because they're on a big title, or they've just got a new title, or they're doing something for Lucasfilms, whatever it is, and then your commission gets put to the back of the line because Lucas or DC or Marvel takes precedence.
Right.
You know, it's like, yes, I understand where the money comes from for the artist. It's from the publishers, but I just gave that artist $500, let's say. It's worth it that they should honor that $500. If they can't, fucking give me my money.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
I got you. Is there any are there any strategies that you guys have or could maybe give to, say, younger, you know, less experienced commission collectors for managing these types of delays, or I don't know, staying patient? You know,
the only strategy I would think is doing. So what was that, Rich?
Do your homework first.
Right. Make sure that
as far as the artist's reputation for delivering, you can avoid a lot of problems that way. If someone has a bad reputation of taking money, ghosting people, I mean, with the internet nowadays, people are very public about it. So that's the best advice I can give. Do your homework first.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only homework; it's also the fact that if the person says, "I want all my money up front," there's a warning flag for me. If they say, "I'm not going to start for another 3 months," there's another warning flag.
Well, it's like if you can't start until 3 months from now, well, then I'll pay you in.
Yeah, exactly.
Email me when you're ready, and I'll pay the money at that point. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But then they say it's a waiting list. It's a wait list. You're putting yourself on a wait list. I mean, that's another warning flag.
So Hart, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
So that there's no artist that you would make an exception for, like
no.
that it's going to take longer, but the end result is going to be well worth the wait. There's no artist that would fit that bill for you?
I would say answer no, Rich. I come from a graphic design position, right? In order to do a logo, we do a contract, right? If you want a logo, you ask for the logo, I ask for the price, I give you the price, and we work out a deal. I will give you a due date and give you the logo on the due date or close to, maybe before that. But I won't be going to you and saying, oh, you know what? My dog ate it, or, you know, I've got this other thing going, or Marvel came up with me. It doesn't matter who, if it's a big name or a small name. You have to be honoring your word, no matter what it is. Yes, it's an extreme statement, but if I was promised something, I want it. I paid good money for it. If I paid John Byrne, I want the artwork. If I paid, somebody small, I want the artwork. I don't want any excuses. They used the money for something, and it's done. But I got nothing. Yeah, that sounds bitter.
One thing that always stuck with me is in college I had an art history minor, and so we would visit a lot of artists or hear artists speak, etc. And the one thing I took away from that is that for the most part, artists, and I'm not making excuses or justifying, it's just something it's worth keeping in mind, I feel. And Ruben's talking about what to say to newer collectors, right?
Yeah.
An artist, for the most part, has chosen to express themselves in a particular medium, in a particular way, doing a particular thing. That's their expression of their creative instinct and beyond, their commentary on life and the world and their vision. an artist that can do that and manage a website, ship and pack art, and communicate, that's like a bonus. That's a special person. I understand they should be doing it. They're running a business. They're taking money. They're charging for a product. But there's an artistic bent to a lot of these artists where, and we all know who they are. There's artists out there who are phenomenally talented, but they can't, either they're lucky that they have a good rep helping them manage all of that, or they can't get it done because that's not part of their DNA. That's not who they are, right? There's
I understand.
And again, I'm not making excuses. I'm not saying it's okay for any of these instances. But to the newer collectors, to people just getting into commissioning, a little bit of grace. It's really difficult if you enter into a contract to commission someone and no timeline's been discussed, and then 2 months later you're frothing at the bit.
Okay, with that point you're making, you should to new people for commission get a deadline, or at least give a deadline.
Fine.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a great idea. Because that's the kind of thing that everybody should at least hold to, whether the artist or the rep. If they have to extend it, then they give you a reason why it's extended, right? And then your grace period would enact, right, Mikail?
Yeah, I agree. This is what I would take away from this conversation. Like when I started commissioning, and 90% of my commissions actually never have a deadline baked into them. Yeah, that's just the way I kind of came into it, and it was never. You and then as you get experienced, yes, you ask that question, you talk about it, but often when you get these emails from reps saying, oh, so and so is open for commissions, it rarely says with guaranteed delivery in XYZ time. It's just not part of the way it's done normally. I'm not saying, but that can change. And if
that should change.
As a collector, it's your right to ask, hey, do you have an idea how long this might take?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. You should be able to openly say, is it going to be 3 months? Is it going to be 6 months? Because then that's a decision maker on your part to invest that money into that commission, right? You would say, okay, I don't want to waste my 6 months, this money. I'd rather go to somebody else in 3 months. Yeah.
And even that the length of that timeline depends on you. What's your personal threshold? Where do you feel you need to be?
Rich, did I answer your question? Because I think I kind of snowballed into like mean, aggravated things.
What was my question?
You were saying about the highest artist, if they're the top of the line artist.
I just posted something in the comments about Catherine Jeffrey Jones years ago. I mean, there's a case of a premier artist that didn't do commissions very often, and people were waiting years on that list in hopes of getting something. So, I mean, some people will go the extra mile for a particular artist if it's a dream commission that they want. They'll bend the rules of what their tolerance is. I mean, you answered clearly you wouldn't. Yeah. But
But then again, I don't have a lot of time on this earth, right? I mean, I'm up there in age.
You know something we don't?
Yes, I do actually. But the point is that my enjoyment of art right now is what I have, and that's one of the reasons why I cut my collection down to what I really, really like.
Okay.
My commission, if I could get it, Catherine Jones, yes, I would love to have one. But if I have to wait another 4 years, 2 years, 1 year even, I can't put myself into that mess, because I could be in the ground in the next 6 years from now, and I only have that much time to enjoy a piece of artwork that's going to either my kids are going to forget about, or it's going to go to Goodwill or put in the trash, because your hobby is not something that your kids will, continue or even invest in. Sorry guys, if that's news to everybody. It's like nobody cares about your hobby. other than yourself. So,
that's true. But
so I'm kind of, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I appreciate the feedback. That's all. It's all good feedback. It all makes sense to me. There's only so much you can really say about that, anyways, right? So,
and I think Mikail said it really better than I did.
Well, there you go. He said what he had to do, and then he left.
I have a lot of respect.
I got you. You went to piss. Yeah.
I can't do art, right? I the whole part, and that's why I love commissioning, is that there's so much mystery to it. The way an artist composes and makes something, I can't do it. So I add a lot of latitude into that because I don't understand the process, but there's a limit.
Well, I'm an illustrator and an artist, fine art as well as illustration work. That's my background. Mm-hmm. Graphic design is something I jumped into because it made more money than fine art and it ever did, right? So when I see an artist not completing their work, it bugs me because I take it personally because I know what goes into it, right?
Right. You know what's involved.
Right.
I'm an artist as well, and we understand, what's involved, what's BS, and what should be delivered. So our tolerance is generally going to be less, than someone like Mikail that, said he can't draw, whereas a lot of the mystery is removed from us because we know the process. No, I understand that.
Yeah, and it I think Mike, in a sense, said it really well. Actually, where's that one? It's like it all comes down to integrity. Either they have it or they don't. That's another thing that I really appreciate. If they have integrity to finish up on their promises, he or she, they, I'm great. I'm happy about it. It makes the experience, it makes the commission 5 times better when I look at it.
Okay, but again, to play devil's advocate, integrity can be defined in a very broad sense here, right?
It can. It can.
So you like say you commissioned Art Adams and there was no communication, and then you run into him at a con 3 years later, and he pulls out that bagged and boarded book with the money still in it, right? So he's not taking the money out. He knows he has to do it. You're on the list. And maybe it's even done. He's like, oh my God, I'm so glad I ran into you. I banged, I did this piece for you. I did the piece. That's a form of integrity too, even though it was mired with a lack of communication.
But that's the thing, that lack of communication should not be something that occurs. It shouldn't
be. I agree. It shouldn't be.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm stirring for 3 months, 3 years, whatever it is, right? And in my own juices, and I'm going, you know what? I don't even want to look at this artist, let's say Art Adams, if we're using him as an example. I don't want to even see him in the con. I don't even go by his table because I've got this seething anger inside me. Yes, it's not like anger issues, but it is like he's just going to give me another excuse or whatever, and I'm just going to get more angry, and the con will become less enjoyable. And I will leave it with, everybody's going, hey, how'd you enjoy the con? I said, I hated it. That kind of compounds. And
it does.
That's how I see it. I'm seeing it very minutely because I either enjoy something or I don't enjoy something. I can't have a middle ground as much as I would love to. My middle ground is kind of very thin, It's either I give a fuck or I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's like people. I either like a person or I dislike a person. I can learn to tolerate them, but I can't. If you are mean to me, Mikail, I'm not going to like you. And if you you forget my name every time we meet. We've met for like 16 times at a con, and you forget my name. I'll be like, that guy doesn't care. Why should I care? I remember his name.
I agree with that. I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. See, that's my stance on a lot of things. Not only commissions, not only collecting,
basic human interaction.
Yeah, because it transfers from one state to another, be it hobby or be it life or be it whatever, your economic position or whatever you want to put into it. I don't want a lot of drama anymore, and drama was commissions, because it's the hunting for it. It's the lack of communications. When you get a page, you get the page. Yes, it might be taking a couple weeks to get to you, but you get the page, you're done. Like Ruben, when he sends his Perkins pages, he slaps it, he puts it out, and it's out the door, and he does a great job of packing. I've seen his stupid packing job, and I hate him for it because it's so good.
Stupid packing job.
Stupid packing job. But it's done, and I don't have an emotional, negative emotional impact.
Yeah.
When it comes to a page, whereas a commission, you are invested so emotionally. You're almost like 90% emotion in a commission, whereas a page is maybe 15 to 25%. You get it, you're like, oh, this is great, John Byrne, or this is great, John Bolton, whoever it is, right? And that's where are we going?
Marcus just wanted to see Rich's toys. That's all.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing the screen change, and I'm going, am I looking at somebody? I'm looking at.
No. Stay focused.
Okay, stay focused. So, long run, it's kind of like your emotional value when it comes to commissions, and this is to every new person, right? Make sure you understand that you're going to throw some emotion into your commissions, no matter how emotionless you may think you are going to be in the process, but understand you also need to cut your tie and just not invest too much interest in it, because the drama will just eat you up, and yes, I'm preaching.
No, yeah. And again, I'm not. Let's look at it this way. So it's hard because you're kind of stepping back.
Aggravational.
No, stepping back. What to address Jason's point, Jason Kim's point in the chat. I still love commissions. If overall it sounds like I'm saying don't commission or I'm done with commissions, that's not what I'm saying at all. They still hold a very important part in the hobby for me, and they still.
And that's great.
Yeah. And so out of the 150 odd commissions that I probably have, 130 are great. Butter, gravy, smooth, no problems, very happy, great emotions when I look at them. And then there's the 20 odd pieces out of that may have some element of problematic attached to them.
Right.
But again, I still like commissions. I'm still doing it. And I feel like I'm very careful. We've talked a lot about how to be careful about commissions.
Yeah.
You can't, as long as you're not just going blindly into it, you will overall have a good experience.
Mikail, so Jason just stepped in. What's up, Jason? He's asking, what is the percentage of commissions where you have a problem, where you've had a problem with delivery? He says, I've commissioned a decent amount and have had issues, but it's not enough to be able to say I'll never do another.
Right, and that's what I just addressed.
And by the way, I want to ask too, because when Hart was on the show, a while back, actually it was one of his earlier kind of appearances. I don't know which one. He's done so many, but one of his appearances, he told us all, like, yeah, I've done over 100 commissions, and like, what was it, Hart? That 25% of them were
25%. Yeah.
Bad news or whatever.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It was 25% in lying, 25% in delivery, 25% with just generalities of excuses. Yeah.
So Jason's asking you, Mikail, what percentage?
Right, that's the answer. That's what I just answered. Is that out of the 150 commissions, 130 have been problem free.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'd only hold up about 20 as being problematic. So
okay, that's pretty good. It's not
a little bit over 10%.
Yeah, that's not too bad. No, to make it for you guys who keep begging me to swap in Matt. I love Matt. He knows that. But I'm not swapping in Matt. We've got a time limit tonight. Matt doesn't know that because he came in late. And so did you, Carlos. And there's like literally 25-ish minutes to go. I still got stuff to do. So no, we're
Hey, Matt, You and I should do a show with Ruben. We can always pick on him.
Who?
Matt and I should do a show with you being the
Yeah, you two shit on me. That's the episode. Yeah.
Hey, that's a great title. It'll get you hits. Come on.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Mara's in the house. Look at that. Look who stepped in. Look at that. Oh, look at Rich is all quiet now, seeing what's happening. Okay, so let me quickly, she just woke up, just like last time when we talked privately. She just woke up.
So did I. Well,
like Jason. Let's see. Okay, my hesitancy on commissions nowadays is more than today's prices don't allow for the risk of a bad. Oh yeah, they're too expensive to allow for bad experiences. So that's what makes me not happy. And so at today's prices, they all have to be winners. I get that. I certainly get that. Yevgeny says it finally happened. USPS lost one of my commissions I shipped. Just filed an insurance claim today. Sorry to hear that.
No,
but it could. Don't give up. It could actually end up appearing. I almost thought that I had my first losses, 2 of them shipped on the same day, and I thought they were going to be my first 2 losses in 28 years. And then 3 months later, they somehow appeared. So thank God my streak is still intact. Never lost a package. So it could still happen for you, Evgeny. Who else? Throughout the time limit. Oh, quiet Stanley. Not tonight. Delivery
Stanley.
To me, it's not the biggest risk. The biggest risk is that I won't like the commission despite giving instructions. But that's always one of the biggest.
Yeah.
That's one of the many risks you take. In the commissioning game for sure. I am a fierce defender of my friend.
Oh, Matt, you hurt me.
Oh, it's funny. Let's see what else. I was not happy. Never using USPS again. Don't give up, man. Like I said, for every complaint you're going to get on that carrier, I can find you plenty of people complaining about nightmares about every other carrier. So just stick to the one you like, and that's it. Had a Ghibli cell disappear for 2 years and it surfaced. Yeah, I remember he told me about that. Yeah. Okay, so let me keep this going, guys. My next topic I wanted to bring up is this: commission red flags. Okay, you knew this was going to come up, and so it's probably not what you think. I figure you guys would be thinking, oh, he's now this is where he asks us to tell him a bad experience with an artist. No. Commission red flag. So what I wanted to know in this case is, have you guys actually ever, and there's a couple of questions here, but first of all, have you ever passed on a commission, or I guess I should say a commission opportunity and regretted it? If so, please share. Can you, share with us what that opportunity is? Meaning like, so I guess, I think it's self-explanatory, but just in case it's not, like maybe a hard, an artist who doesn't do them often, and you had the opportunity, somebody told you about it, you could have gotten on the list, and you were like, yeah, but I got some other stuff going on, whatever, and you're like, maybe some other time, whatever, no. And then later we're like, shit, because he hasn't done one, he hasn't opened another list in like years since then, that kind of thing. That's just one example.
Nothing for me. I can tell you that. Nothing.
Okay.
Simple answer. Next.
I think early on with Steranko, when he was opening up commissions,
okay,
I should have jumped on it quicker, and I had a few friends that did, and they got great results. And then, after a while, his list became too long, and it just wasn't going to happen.
I could see that being a reason for regret. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that was a missed opportunity. You could have grabbed.
Yeah, he wasn't doing commissions often, so there was like a small window. Sometimes you just don't have the money to commit. Yeah, for sure. There's always reasons, right? There's always reasons, but that held me back from getting more commissions from Byrne and Perez when they had open lists. I just didn't have the money at the time, so I got what I got. Yeah, no, I totally get it. How about you, Mikail?
So when Walt opened that list, was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I wrote to to the rep, and then got a reply back. I asked a question, and then when I wrote back to their answer, didn't hear anything. So I kind of regretted not getting on that list.
Sorry.
And
When you replied that, what happened?
So Walt's list from like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That was run by who's the rep?
I honestly didn't even realize that it went through a rep. To be honest, that's kind of some news.
Yeah, it was like a Facebook. It was a random Facebook thing.
Oh, okay.
Was it Spencer or is it someone else?
Yeah, it might have been Spencer.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
So I wrote to Spencer. He wrote back, and then I wrote back to him and never heard back. So that was kind of I wish I would have been great to get on Walt's.
Oh,
list,
you
right?
you never heard back.
I never heard back the second time. The list must have been filled up or whatever, and by that point, right?
And so when you didn't get a reply to that, you didn't feel like, hey, this is Simonson. Let me ask him if he got my email. You just figured out, forget it.
Yeah, something about it just. I've had less than stellar experiences with them also. So
yeah. Spencer's hit and miss. I've had really bad emails communication with him.
Yeah. Okay. So and then as 8-bit comic culture said, when Tradmore's list opened up,
right.
I got the email right when it went out. I probably could have gotten on the list if I had replied to it, but I just bought a bunch of Trad's work, and so it was a lot of money at the time, and so I passed on it. And we're starting to see the results of that list now, and they're fantastic. So I kind of wish I'd double dipped on the Trad well.
Right.
But, again, these are light, grievances. Nothing like that I tear my hair out.
Not a monster regret, like where you're like ruining that. Oh, I wish I should have, whatever. Like it's
Actually, I remembered one other one that I regretted. Joe Kubert had opened up a short commission list. He had just come out with a book, and he was doing drawings inside the book, but he was only doing like a limited number. And
I got in on that.
Yeah, I should have jumped on that and got a nice Hawkman from him, but
I got one.
And then he passed away a few years later, so that was definitely a regret.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to miss out on that. He never did commissions, really,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, so.
Hey, Ruben, how was the commission? Was it a nice one, or is it a quick sketch?
Okay, you have to understand they were small, but then again, they were dirt cheap. Like, so, I don't know, they're about.
Oh, okay.
Big, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that he wanted to do it only because his whole intent. It's not because he wanted to do commissions. His whole reason for doing it is because he wanted to promote the books, and I say books because he did it more than once. Mm-hmm. So he put out a book, a collection of whatever work he had done, like some graphic novel or whatever. And so to promote it, he said, okay, I'll do, I don't know, 75 or 100 or 50 or whatever the number was, sketches inside your book. And you buy the book from me, and I'll do a sketch inside,
And he was personalizing the sketches.
I actually had to ask him to personalize. I was like, hey, can you put my first and last name? Like, I wanted it to be personalized. So, but it didn't have to be. Not when
Did you spell your name E-B-A-Y?
Mr. E-B-A-Y.
Lowercase e, of course, capital B. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got to be copyright, precise.
Yeah. But that's the thing is that to me they were beautiful, and like I got 2 of them, and there were, if I remember correctly, there was $80, and $80, by the way, included the hardcover book that came with for me.
Right.
Like
that's dirt cheap. Yeah,
I was like,
that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And I was like, well, it's Joe Kubert. I'm like, shit, do I get Hawkman or do I get Sergeant Rock? And then I was like,
I should ask him for Ratman.
Yes, Ratman. Or actually, Hawkman and Ratman together.
I just asked the guy, hey, do you got room? Can I take 2 spots? And he's like, yeah, I guess that's fine. Okay, 1 of each, please. So that's it. So I have a,
You're such a hoarder.
Yeah, why not? And I do commission so rarely, so why not?
It's right in his name, Hart. It's right in his name.
Ruben the Hoarder.
Yeah, right. But let me guys ask you this: if you, and this will help like newer people in the hobby that are interested in getting into commissions, or they may have started already but don't have a lot of experience. What would you guys say are some of the signs to look out for that an artist might not be a good fit to work with?
Drug addict. No, just kidding.
No, that is a real.
That actually alcoholic and a drug addict. Yes, that is a real life thing. But it's a funny, but it's not funny at the same time. But I think Rich, go ahead.
I mean, like we said before, someone that's got a bad reputation of not delivering, that's something to look out for. Sometimes too, what you're looking for may not fit a certain artist. Like when I do Battle of the Planet commission requests, certain artists just don't fit those characters. They don't know who they are. They're not going to do a great job in my estimation.
I think that's great advice. Is trying to stay away from the characters. Well, it's not that you should not ask them for lesser known characters, but you got to be looking like, okay.
I mean, if you meet them in person, the artist,
right.
You can kind of gauge.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Their enthusiasm or their interest in doing it.
That's it. You got to be looking at them.
I've gotten either people that grew up with the cartoon that are all gung ho and want to do it, and then I've got older artists that didn't know who the characters were, and they give me that deer in the headlights look. So I know right then and there, it may not be a good road to go down.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it's like if you're in person and you ask for the weird character, just look at their reaction look at their faces as soon as you tell them the character, and judge from that. And if you're doing it through email, obviously just you got to have a sense of how their response is and whether they're feeling it or not feeling it or whatever. And then,
I mean, if your commission request is Batman, more than likely you don't have to worry about it.
Most of the time.
I haven't come across an artist that has a problem with drawing Batman.
Ruben wanted Kubert to do Baby Huey first. That's why he settled with Hawkman and Sergeant Rock.
Right. Actually, I had a third opportunity with Kubert, and I said, could you ask him if he would do a Cisco Kid? And see, because I have the only known existing specialty drawing of the Cisco Kid, drawn by the artist who drew him in the newspaper, right, Jose Luis Salinas. And it was one that he had done for Joe and Muriel Kubert. It's even personalized to Joe and Muriel.
Oh, okay.
And I have that. I love it. And I love the Cisco Kid strips, right? I've been a collector of those. And I have that. So I was like, oh, yeah, he did that for them. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'd like to see Joe do the Cisco Kid. Why not? Plus, because Joe did like Westerns. The guy said, oh, I think he would do it. But then I realized, I was like, oh, one of the things about Cisco Kid as a character is what I love about him visually is he has a black shirt and he's got over the shoulders, right from the back to the front, coming down, this really detailed flower embroidery pattern,
Mm-hmm.
and that Salinas always painted on with white paint in every panel, And so to me, it's such a key element to the design of what he looks like. I was like, okay, if I'm going to get Kubert to do me, a Cisco, it needs to have at least, chest up or something. I got to see some of that coming over, right? I was worried that he might accept to do it and only do like a headshot face and the sombrero, And so So I reached out to the guy again who was handling the commissions, and I explained that to him, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think he would be interested in having to do that." I'm like, "What do you mean? And if you told him it has to have a little bit of that flower embroidery pattern?"
Right.
He's like, yeah. I'm like,
he'll kick it to the side.
I'm like, "Oh, really?" So I'm like, "You know what? Okay, you know what? That's okay then. That's okay. Never mind. And I just bowed out. I didn't take the spot. But now I feel like,
Ruben, you actually hit upon something.
yeah,
Sometimes when you hit on a character that the artist really wants to draw, you'll get an amazing commission. So in a case like that, you had a reason why you would approach Kubert with that character. Like for instance, some of the older artists, like if someone went up to John Romita Sr. when he was doing commissions and asked him for Terry and the Pirates, which he loved, when he was growing up, you kind of hitting on like a sweet spot for them, like something that they're really interested. It's different. It's outside the norm. It's not Spider-Man, Mary Jane, but it's something that, they would have an interest in doing, and you might get a really cool commission, if you're hitting on something like that.
Yep, totally. That's. I mean, you would think that should be kind of understood, right? But it bears always mentioning that. Yeah.
Again, it's doing your homework.
Exactly.
Like maybe you read an article with an artist that they love this character or that or whatever, and it's not something you usually ask for, but they'll put a little something extra into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Okay, so time is waning, guys.
Right.
So I want to continue. I had a couple of more questions with regards to the commission red flags.
There should be like a meme for commissions from like the artist's point of view, when they're like, when Thanos turns back time to make the soul gem come back to all the pieces in Vision's head. So every time an artist is being pushed for a commission, he's just like, time is no thing at all. It's just like fucking, time's just a fucking, it's what you want it to be.
Carlos, I don't follow. I'm not a basketball guy. Sorry, no. So you can say the score if you want to. Congrats, James, by the way, Oklahoma kid. What do you... Cutthroat Comics asks, "Hi guys, what do you think about well-known illustrators working on indie comic books?" Why not?
Why not? Yeah, they
want to do a great job. Project that they love. I'm all for it. Absolutely, yeah. As long as the idea is good, right?
Yeah. If they fit the source, yeah.
Yeah, ask the Ayers to do a Spectre sketch, and you would have thought I called him a son of a bitch. Scotty, come on, man.
Really?
He was an old man. He was an old man. He was like, come on.
I'd call you a son of a bitch.
If you're not leading with son of a bitch, you're not doing commissions right.
Yeah. You got to take authority.
That's pretty funny. But no, those are good. Those are good responses, guys. I wanted to ask though one last thing about the whole commission red flag topic. So, is there anything that you suggest people avoid asking an artist for, or that you avoid discussing up front with them?
Well, the obvious thing is, I want a commission of Wonder Woman naked with her lasso around Batman. It's like, what the that kind of thing. Obviously, you're not going to get oh yeah, that's a great idea, I'm going to go with that and give it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, tread lightly when you're asking for a fetish
piece.
Yeah,
I mean, fetish is something that is only through email, honestly. I think that would happen. Not in the in person with a commission in front of other people saying, I really love that Wonder Woman without her lasso or whatever it is. But yeah.
Well, I've definitely asked artists, like, what's the weirdest request you've gotten, and it goes along those lines.
Well, I've got a few that told me. One was they had a shoe fetish person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Go from there. I'm not going to describe anything, but that's one of the.
You want to hear a funny story about
Go
foot
for
fetish?
it. Yeah.
So when I was working at Continuity,
You had me at foot.
yeah, when I was working at Continuity, they used to sell a lot of Neil's advertising art. Okay,
Mhm. Yep.
and there would be food illustrations or whatever. So one day they come across a blue sock that has a hole in it with the toe coming through. Let me tell you, when they put that up for auction that night, people were bidding like crazy. They were like, "Do you have any more of this?" It was the funniest thing.
Okay.
And they had no idea what advertising.
Oh, Ruben's going to get his foot fetish piece right now. He's
like, that reminds me of something.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a blue sock with a hole in it.
That's not a sock.
He was the model for that.
Yeah, he was the model. He's not only the model, he's the president of that organization.
There you go.
All right, where's the blue sock, Ruben?
What you got, Ruben?
50 Reasons. Oh, yeah, that's Stuart Immonen, isn't it?
Yep, there's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, I had that one a long time ago.
Pick one. Pick them all. Which one you got? I'm
middle.
I got to get these slabs. I'm investing.
You're all about the money. It's not a good image of you.
Yeah. What can I tell you, man? What can I tell you?
Such a capitalist.
We'll say
hi. Oh, yes, sir.
All right, we're almost 8 o'clock, boys and girls.
Yep. So, hold on. Ruben was winning bidder. On what? Gone for the shake weight, right? Mara couldn't help it. She had to come on camera. Look at that.
Special guest star.
We'll get her on as an official guest next time.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Hello.
Let me see.
Okay. It's Mikail and Ruben.
Yes.
Yeah, nobody knows Ruben really. He's just
that's
he's an international man of mystery.
He likes feet.
That's right. That likes feet, yes.
Like Marcus, like Stanley. I'm part of the mystery. I'm the mystery guys in the hobby.
He came in on the foot fetish discussion.
I know.
All right, so
nudes,
to let you guys know, since we are hitting in a couple of minutes the 3-hour mark, what we'll do is, there's no way that I will be able to get to all the topics and questions that I put together, which I kind of expected, but that's okay. I can save them for another future episode, so that's cool.
I mean, we're cool. I'm not going to turn into a pumpkin.
No, I know, but
we should stick to an agenda.
Yeah. And since we still have art, why don't we finish it off by looking at the rest of the artwork? Yeah, you each have
thumbs up for me.
4 pieces, and that's what usually people are begging. I don't know what happened tonight. Nobody's begging for the art tonight. Every episode when we're just hanging out and just chatting, these people are like,
they wanted the dirt tonight.
Yeah, they wanted me
enthralled with
any pictures, any scans tonight. Oh,
I'll save my foot story for next time.
Yeah.
No, listen.
I'm gonna go with the leg story next time too.
With 4 of us here, and the commission, hobby, there's so many things to talk about, as you guys know. I mean, any one given topic, if we didn't have an actual, sort of cutoff time, this would be this would easily be a 5-hour show plus.
Is that Godzilla?
Gojira. Yes.
I saw a lot of those in Japan, in Tokyo.
Go figure.
At Mandarake.
Right. Yeah, the series of stores that also has the online auction. That's where Jeff gets all his.
Oh, really? I didn't know they do auctions. Oh, my monster! I want that.
Yeah.
We'll start the bidding at $100.
Hey, Ian.
I'll give you a John Byrne commission.
Okay. All right. So let me see. Oh, Matt's calling. Give props to Mikail for the show he did with Jeff and Tatiana about art storage. It was fantastic. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. So
there were no feet.
But now that you're mentioning it, everybody give props to Mikail for the show that he did with Jeff and Tatiana about art storage. Yay! Now I did one with Jeff and Dino, and so now we have another one. I will have to check that out. And Mikail, I have to ask you, did you take the opportunity on the show to do a live packing and show how you?
We did not talk about shipping art, just storing art.
Oh, storage. Okay,
I just keep it between concrete slabs. Is that good? You know, art, just slab it between two concrete plates.
Only if you keep it in a very humid environment.
Oh, great. You know what? I was thinking of sending it to Vietnam and letting it sit for 6 months and then shipping it back. That probably would work well.
You're going to save yourself a lot of trouble with restoration later.
Except for the lemongrass smell. You might have,
Okay. All right. So yeah, let's take a look at these pieces. And Rich and Mikail, it would be cool if you also added why you picked these specific ones. Since you guys only had I limited to 5 each. Just let me know why you guys picked each one. That'd be fun. But yeah, this one I'll start with just in the order. I guess I'll go back and forth one each. Mikail, we'll start with you. Colleen Doran, here we go. And we will switch to this view here.
All right, so very simply, whenever I think about favorite commissions, this is one of the ones that always just pops into my head.
Okay.
I think the figure work and the design work throughout are amazing. The execution is impeccable. You look at the figures and the drapery and making up the halo. It's just an inspired piece.
What I really loved about it is guys, go to Mikail's gallery. Check out Colleen Doran on his homepage of his gallery. Click on it to find it quickly.
Can you zoom in? Can you show some of the drapery,
that's why I'm telling them to go and check it out in your gallery, because I can't. There's nothing I can do to zoom in. Even if I do this view, see, because it's a vertical piece, so it's not like you can stretch. Yeah, it's not, it can't go any taller.
Mikail, do you know that the origins, that design is Urte and Harry Clark illustrators?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah.
Because she took from them when she did Snow Glass Apples, and then my request was the Endless in the style of Snow Glass Apples. So
that's got it. Yep. Well done.
But I did not pose for this. No, thank you.
Only from the hip. No.
The reason I'm telling you guys it's worth a visit to the gallery to check it out is because what you don't see here, because it's too small to see, but all the drapery has pattern on it, right?
Yep.
Go look at the pattern. It's essentially a lot of nude people all mixed in. I was gonna say orgy, but you don't really see sex happening. So it's just a bunch of nudes all together. It's really, really, really cool.
It's a compilation.
Yeah, it's so worthwhile going to check out. So yeah, please do check that out.
Lots of massaging going on.
And so, Mikail, you chose this one just basically because it's always been one of your favorite pieces that you ever gotten commissioned.
Yeah, I think it's just outstanding on every level. So
okay,
Mikail, what did you specifically ask for with this piece?
And I, Dan.
So she's doing a series for me of all the Endless in the style of the book that she did, Snow Glass Apples.
Gotcha.
Desire. Is that desire? Matt asks.
It is.
Well, do you desire it, Matt? Do you feel desire when you look at it? If it is, then you know what it is. You know who it is. There you go. But yeah, Evgeny also loves it. Do the drapes match the carpet? Dear Lord.
Mikail, is this your first series of Endless, or have you done other ones?
I haven't done any complete series, no.
Okay.
All right.
With Colleen, because I was a member of her Patreon, so it just made sense to have something that was recurring.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Good choice. Very good choice.
Yeah, very cool. Let us go over to Rich now. And so after the John Byrne piece, which by the way,
Ratman.
Because we showed the John Byrne piece earlier. Let me show this like this. And there you go. For those of you who haven't seen Byrne in like 30 years.
Yeah, I have not.
Yeah.
That's from 2009.
2009 when and that isn't that the piece in front of him that he's working on?
Yeah, the two pieces.
Yeah, that is his piece.
That's when I went to go pick it up.
Okay, yeah. Very cool. Very nice.
How big is his studio? I've seen like bits and pieces of pictures of it.
His studio's in the basement, and it's a large size room. But the thing about it is he's got crazy art hanging up down there from his collection. Everything from Kirby, Ditko, you name it.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he's got pages.
I would imagine,
from FF number 5. You know.
Oh Jesus!
First Doctor Doom. Yeah, he's got an insane collection.
Yeah, I saw one picture that he has like not suits of armor, but like costume and glasses. Is that correct?
When I went there, he had life-size Robbie the Robot, Gort.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
A couple of Star Wars, and I believe he had a samurai armor. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got cool stuff.
Yeah.
So this is the Gene Colan piece. This is when I first met Gene at the first New York Comic Con in 2006. So Gene was on my list of people I wanted to meet. Finally got to meet him and his wife, Adrian. I always liked his Captain America. That's what I grew up reading of Gene's, more so than his Daredevil. And this blew me away that he did at the show. This led to many emails between him, him and his wife. And eventually he, about a year later, I want to say, 2 years later, he invited me over to his apartment one night. And we just hung out, ate pizza, and he told me Stan Lee stories. So sometimes commissioning an artist may lead to, a friendship or whatever. And then this piece years later, when Gene passed away, I commissioned Tom Palmer to ink it on a separate board.
Thank God. Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
I mean, when the pencils are, especially with Gene, because he shaded with his pencils and put so many tones into it. I wouldn't touch the originals.
Look at Marcus even said, good you didn't get it inked. Exactly. It was all about the pencils. And with the published art, you it's inked already. You can pick your favorite inker over Gene, but it's inked, right? And it's how he painted with different shades of gray on the pencils that it's really beautiful. So if you're getting a commission, to me, I always felt like, why would you ink it? Like, this is the one time you can get pure Gene's, pencils, which again looks like a gray painting. It gets so cool. Yeah. So
well, it's funny with this piece. When I sent Tom a scan of it, he said to me, "Can you send me a scan that isn't cropped?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "The top of the shield is cropped." I said, "Oh, that's how Gene drew it. He drew it off the page." And Tom started laughing. And he goes, "Yeah, a lot of the Dracula covers we had to like shrink down." Because Gene would draw it off the side of the page. Because Gene would start like in a weird spot, like he might start drawing like the foot first, and then wherever the art went off the page or whatever.
So his bleed areas were weird.
Yeah. The other thing was a couple of years after this one, I asked Gene, "Can you draw a Red Skull, an adjoining piece holding the cosmic cube, shooting those lightning bolts at him?" And he refused to do it. And his reasoning was, he said, sometimes you want to leave something to the imagination of what's off screen. Like Gene thought about it very cinematically. Mm-hmm. So his camera's eye, he didn't want you to know what was off screen. He wanted you to imagine, where the blast was coming from. So yeah, he turned down doing a Red Skull piece for it.
Yeah, because it could be a robot, it could be anything, a discharge from
it's large too.
What's that?
Is it large?
I was looking at it. I thought it was like 9 by 12, but
It's 14 by 17.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Congrats. That's a beautiful piece.
Yeah, actually, I'll show you. It's hanging up down here. If you want to go full screen.
Yeah, hold on.
Yep. There it is.
Move you up here, and then I gotta.
Yeah, it's behind the comic rack.
Oh, there. Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice. And let me come back. I like this layout. Circles with art in the middle. This is so fun. And so what's the size? Do you know off the top of your head, Rich?
14 by 17.
You said
Okay,
that.
14 by 17. Okay. Okay, yeah, because I felt it was wider than typical. I just wasn't sure if it was taller or not, you know?
And this was a picture at New York Comic Con of Gene drawing it. I commissioned them early in the morning, and I came back like maybe an hour later after I got on a bunch of sketch lists, and he was like almost done with it. Like he was super quick. And it just blew me away when I saw it.
Rich, you are one of the most luckiest commission guys that I know.
As far as getting this piece?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got Byrne that did it in 2 days, and Colin doing it in 1 hour. It's amazing.
Well, like I said, it's that different generation of artists that were very, these were guys that were getting paid next to nothing. You know, not so much Byrne, but like the earlier generation. I mean, they were getting paid peanuts for their work, so they were very, professional with their job.
You bring a good point. Then what happened to the new generation now that charge so much, but they don't deliver in kind? I mean, not everyone, but I'm just saying that it has a tendency that I've heard that all the new artists, not all the new artists, most of the artists that are new kind of have this elevated price point, but their completion rate and their satisfaction is not that great.
I mean, as far as the prices are concerned, you can blame eBay for part of that, because once people started flipping pieces online, the prices went up. I mean, when I started going to conventions in the early 2000s, Adam Hughes was charging $100 for a commission, and then people started flipping them on eBay for like $1,000, $2,000, so the price had to go up. I mean, it's only fair that the artist makes,
But Adam's an established artist. I'm talking about in the past 5-6 years, new artists that are in
No, you're talking about artists that have reps or that rep themselves.
Well, maybe both. Mikail, Trad, do you know his average price for commission or whatever he charges?
I mean, I think he took the one list through Felix, and I don't see there being another list for a long time. So I don't think he's the right.
Okay.
I don't think he's the right artist to look at. But I'll argue the other point. There's young artists charging a lot, but being very professional about it, producing great work. Look at Simone DeMeo. His commissions are very expensive at the higher end of what's out there, but that guy works his ass off to deliver like the best product that he can.
Okay.
So I think, like Marcus said, it's artists deliver in both generations. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to paint everyone with the same brush that this is, how it is.
Maybe I have the back in my days, it was great, kind of feel, because I'm an old guy.
All right, let us go and check out the next piece that Mikail has here. And let me just remove this one. And my regular viewers have already seen this, of course, because when I did the show and tell episode with Mikail, of course, I had to select this. But it's always worth another look because it is one of the most outstanding illustrations I've ever seen, especially if you put it in the non-comics category. This is wild.
Blue sock. I got it. Blue socks.
Check it out. Check it out. Oh, that's Blade Runner.
Marco Ferrari.
Marco Ferrari. Never even heard of the guy, by the way.
Okay, so is this a collage, or what is it all inked, or
There's screen tone.
okay, all right.
Just screen tone, but that's it. Other than that,
That's it. It's
all
hand
hand-drawn.
drawn. Yep.
I've actually been in this set at that location in LA, so I know this place.
The Bradbury
cool.
building.
Yeah, the Bradbury building. Yeah, it's not as big as the movie shows, but you know, just movie magic makes it look bigger. But this is great.
So why choose this one tonight for tonight, Mikail? Same as the last one?
This one was because it's a little bit atypical in terms of how the character is presented. It's and the one of the choice that he picked of the list of 3 was Blade Runner. So, you know, it gives you flexibility to show the building being a part of the set as much as, you know, anything else. But picking up on all the touches like the birds and, you know, the architecture and Decker's coat. So yeah, that was the main reason I picked it, is that it presents very differently from what you might consider to be a.
Yeah, it's just outstanding. It's mind blowing. Another one that you guys should all check out if you haven't already done so in Mikail's gallery, because seeing it, you know, you can it's already, even at this small size, it's already obviously incredibly impressive. But when you see it at regular size, wow, you're going to be blown away.
And I've spoken very openly about this. This is the kind of piece that when you've lined up a commission, you know, and I picked it up at a show in person. I hadn't seen it.
Okay.
When you see it at first, you know, your mind needs a beat to take it in, and just, you know, it's a piece that grows with every second that you give it. It's not like I don't have the, you know, the eye to look at it like in just that first glance, be like fall down, you know, dumbstaggered. Although you could be, because it is that kind of piece.
Yeah, for sure.
But what it is the piece that, you know, I stood there and I looked at it, and, you know, I just was like, kind of let it, and really grew to love it in a moment, and then was able to, like, you know, appropriately thank the artist and, you know, convey my gratitude for putting so much work into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You didn't assert dominance first, okay?
I did, like, you know, I let him get up off his knees, and
okay.
What's the size on this original?
It's an 11 by 17.
It's crazy detailed.
John wants to know what was your request? What did you say?
Just Blade Runner.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. When you look at Marco's work on CAF, he's really good with
architecture.
What I really like is when he does kind of cyberpunk future.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Reality. And so I tried to draw that out of him with one of my requests, and this was the one that kind of and he went in a completely different direction. Like, you know, it's not in the vein of the pieces that I was kind of referencing, but you know, that was not my intent, is to get him to do exactly what he had done before.
Has he already done Akira? Because that would be a really stunner.
Yeah, I believe he's done Akira.
Okay, I can see that.
He's done the Galactus for me. That's amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's well worth just perusing his pieces on CAF.
You know what this reminds me of?
It is full bleed, yeah.
Yeah.
This room with the architecture reminds me a lot of Marshall Rogers.
Yeah, you're right.
With him, the architecture was as much a part of the art, or more so than the figure. You know, just
and if I were to be an artist in any way in my life, it would have been as an architect, and I did almost pursue that. So, you know, this piece really speaks to me on that front as well.
Sure, it's beautiful.
Is it for sale on eBay? No.
Lance gets first dibs on this one.
Okay.
I just got a notification of an email that somebody left me a comment on on one of my pieces that's been there for a long time that, probably hasn't had a comment in a year or something. And I have a feeling it might be Bill J. Does anybody want me to check to see if it's Bill J and see if I know
Who's Bill J?
Bill Johnson?
Do I know him? No.
You don't know? He's got an amazing collection.
I don't float in calf that much. So
okay.
That's kind of,
But it's not.
I've been out of the game.
It's not. I checked, and it's Levi. Or tell me, is it Levi or do you go by Levy?
Levy.
New viewer for the first time tonight, who we had here tonight earlier. So
which piece?
Very cool. On the unpublished splash of Dale Keown Hulk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's all pencils, just very nicely, sort of smudged pencils and everything, and nicely shaded, whatever,
It's only worth $20, you know that.
Yeah. There you go. There he is. It was me. Appreciate it, dude. Look at that. Oh yeah, Eric's in the house. Email response coming soon, Eric. You know me. Love this piece. Just joining. Yes, absolutely. What a stunner. It's a stunner. Absolutely, right? Very, very cool.
We're at 8:22, bud.
Yeah. I know. We're almost done.
All right.
Okay, so let me remove this one. And then let me just quickly check, because I believe we have, one more from Mikail. Yeah, and then one more for Rich. Yep. All right, so Rich's piece here, let us know why you chose this one.
So this one, as I wrote in my calf gallery, had a funny story behind it. At this point in time, Adam wasn't taking commissions, but he had on eBay auctions where you could bid for upcoming shows that he was going to be at. So the ones for San Diego that year were going for top dollar. So I wound up winning one for Baltimore that year. I think it was 2010. So I was going to meet him at Baltimore, and me and Adam are the same age, and I grew up reading the Avengers in the early 70s, and Mantis was a character. She was one of the members of the group at the time. So I'm figuring in my head, Adam probably has a connection to the character, being the same age or whatever. Turned out he didn't. So when I asked for Mantis, and this is before the Guardian of the Galaxy movies where they totally revamped the character. So Adam was having a hard time with what to do for the piece. So at Baltimore, I drove down there and met up with him early the first day. And he's like, I'm probably going to do your piece last because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I was like, that's fine. I'll be here for the whole show. So the whole weekend passes, and it turned out he's like, okay, I'm going to go to one of the nearby bars afterwards. I'll do your drawing for you then after the show. So we go and meet up with him and Allison after the show. And as it turned out, while we were having some food and drinks, who comes and sits down with us but Bernie Wrightson and his wife. So, we had a nice conversation with them. Adam draws my piece, and I wind up driving back, the 3-hour drive back to New York that night. I'm happy, everything's done. I get an email from his wife, Allison, like 3 days later, saying Adam wasn't happy with the piece. He doesn't like what he did. He wants to redo it for you. I was like, okay. I'm like, the piece looks great. I'm happy with it. She's like, yeah, I think it's fine too, but he wants to redo it. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to stand in his way. So he wound up redoing the piece, and like a month or two later, I wound up getting this one in the mail. And, the first one was fine, but this one was a lot nicer. And
cool.
He did a great job with it.
That's cool. But so you never even got the opportunity to get the first version?
No, I had the first version.
Oh, you did? Oh.
So, in the email, I said to him, okay, I want to be fair to you. What do you want me to do with the first piece? he said, I would like that you would rip it in half, but I don't expect you to. So he's like, just keep the other piece. And his only request was don't post it. He's like, I'm not happy with it, so I'd rather you not put it in your gallery.
How different is it from this one?
It's a different pose. This
Okay.
one's a lot more detailed.
Okay.
The shading's a lot more realistic on this one. There wasn't anything wrong with the first one, but this one, I guess he felt a lot more comfortable
You
with.
can see how dialed in he is on this.
Yeah,
one. Like,
for sure.
It's just finished. It's well conceived. It's he's just jamming. It's great.
Yeah, he was at home. He had time to think about it and what he wanted to do, and he did an amazing job with it. So I'm very grateful.
And I've heard this story about Adam before too. He'll do a piece. And if he's not happy with it, he wants to.
And also too, what we were talking about with commissions before, that people were waiting years early on before he met up with Allison and he was handling his own commission list and everything. There were a lot of stories people had given him sketchbooks to bring home with him, and he had them for like 10, 15 years. He didn't even know where the books were sometimes. But by the time he found the books and did the commissions for the people, he went above and beyond what the people originally paid for. So that was a case where it was well worth their wait to finally get the pieces from him.
Very nice, man. Very nice. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. And then we move over to Mikail's last piece, which I really, really like. I love a lot of your, speaking of, again, from earlier in tonight's episode, themes for commissions, a character theme in this case. But I love so many of them, of course, Mikail, but the colors on this one really like blew me away. I was like, wow, yeah, I was really drawn to it. Check it out, everybody. Look at that. Herman Peralta.
I was torn between this one and another one. Well, the reason I ended up picking this Galactus is that it's from CAF's mystery sketch offering. So it's 9x12.
This is a mystery sketch?
This is a mystery sketch. So I wanted to just kind of showcase.
This is one of those things you paid $250 for?
$250 at the extreme end of the spectrum.
Wow.
Where all you've done is fill out a form and written Galactus in it.
Wow.
And this shows up.
Wow.
It's wild. How much detail that he's managed to squeeze into this piece.
It's a good thing he didn't make the Earth down a little bit more. Then you'd have the big blue ball. Okay.
When I commission the 11x17, I'll put that in.
Yes. Make sure there's 2 big blue planets.
Hey, Mikail, is this on watercolor paper?
It's cut to 9x12, and there's a lot of warp to it.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it feels like Bristol to me.
Because I've gotten some watercolor pieces that aren't on the proper paper, and it kind of wrinkles up and stuff.
It could be hot press, just hot press board, because it's warping that much. Because if he used a Strathmore cold press, you would see a lot of tooth.
$250 was indeed a steal. And Marcus, it's not that I hate mystery sketches. I said, to make it clear, I
hate everything.
Since I don't commission people in general anyways, I definitely wouldn't want to do something where I have no clue who's going to be giving me what I asked for. So that's what I said. I wouldn't do that. That's just me. I didn't say I hate mystery sketches. And by the way, the risk is there. You know what the risk is, right? For every 250 amazing piece like this that's worth way more than 250, I also occasionally, not often, I'll admit, not often, but occasionally I'll see some that it's like people post that I'm like, Oh, I'm like, good luck for you in your $250 mystery sketch. Holy shit!
Ruben, I had one that I sent back.
Send back.
Sent back.
You can
You're
do
allowed?
that?
Tell us the story. Tell us the story, Mikail. You have to tell us the story.
There were particular instances, but there was a rep involved. The artist had done something that previous to the event, like the tier for what they did was like half of what the mystery sketch tier is. So I was so disappointed with it, and I had some, facts about pricing and stuff. So I just sent it to the rep, and they refunded me. So
Wow.
I'm being, again, perfectly honest. You get like an absolute banger, and then it's the roll of the dice.
Yeah.
No, it's not even rolled. This was like a dice that got rolled and then fell down into the gutter. Like it's not even the one. It was an abnormal experience.
So, do they normally take back mystery, or was this
No,
just?
I wouldn't advocate for doing it on a regular. Like I wouldn't say that you do it. In this particular case, the artist had done a claim show like a month earlier, and offered a tier that was the same as what I got. That was like not the cost of the mystery sketch.
Okay,
right?
Gotcha.
So I made a very apples to apples comparison that, hey, and on top of that, it was a shitty sketch.
Mhm.
It was a half-assed, rushed. That artist had no pride in it whatsoever.
Sounds like my Dave Taylor one.
Yeah. It's
Exactly.
it's one of those classic. Okay, in this case, they definitely phoned it in. They didn't want to do it. They just had to do it. They wanted to get it
Right.
out of their way and just they banged it out.
They didn't
quick.
care. They didn't put effort into it. They just wanted to
Yeah.
seal the deal and move on. And you got the short
that
end of
was the
stick.
impression that I
Yeah.
got from it.
Yeah. And Mikail, did you send it back to the rep that you got it from?
Yes, the CAF was not involved. I just had a conversation directly with the rep.
Okay.
Was it through CAF?
I did. I mean, it was a mystery sketch. I did purchase it through CAF.
Okay. Gotcha.
What did you ever find it later for sale?
No, it's no one's gonna buy that. No one's gonna buy that.
If it's Galactus and they put it for $100, somebody might, right? I don't know.
It wasn't Galactus.
Oh, okay.
It was that blue sock, that damn blue sock with a bunch of penises on there.
So they did the sock pink, and I couldn't believe that they would take such a liberty.
Who doesn't pink? Come on.
Carlos is such a shit disturber. Not only is he's begging you, name him. And then he's like, what are the initials? He's so desperate to know the bad juju,
No, I'm not sharing enough information to ever track it down. But
oh, that's funny.
So just being honest, there's greatness, and then there's very average.
Let me ask a question about the mystery sketches, just real quick, and we'll close it up after that. Is it possible? Are people allowed to? I'm assuming the answer is no, but is it possible to say, all right, anybody except for this guy and that guy? Can you do that, or can you not do that?
You mean like an artist choice?
Well, no. Because I think if I understand how it works, you pay your due.
You cannot dictate who you get.
You can't dictate who you get.
Yeah, it's a free for all.
This is what I'm saying. So I can't even you can't even dictate like 2 names that you definitely do not want.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I know that Jiggy talked about Jiggy at Next Comic Art talked about when he's allocating the mystery sketches to his artists, he tries to keep in mind, like, oh, so and so had you last year, so let's give it to someone else, just to kind of at least keep that element.
Okay. Well, Peter wants to know if he ever participated again. Does he continue to participate? I would assume so, right? I mean,
The
Or
artist
does everybody
participated.
do they switch in and out? Is that what they do? They go in and
No,
out?
so some artists don't do it, and sometimes,
Oh.
you know, if I complain to the rep, maybe the rep said something to the artist, or maybe the rep said, "Hey,
Yeah.
let's sit out around until you get your head on straight."
Right.
That's a nice way of saying get your shit done.
Yeah, Robert, thanks for letting us know, Robert. I like that. I like people to speak up with these types of numbers. It's always interesting. He's had 5 great ones and 1 bomb.
I'd say my ratio is similar to that. I've got
Yeah.
some excellent mystery sketches, really fantastic ones.
Yeah. See, that's pretty good. I mean, I you know, for given the fact you don't know what you're gonna get, you don't know who you're getting it from. That's pretty amazing odds, I would think. You know, like I would think so. If you're getting, come on, Hart, 1 bomb out of 6, when all you're allowed to say is the character and that's it, and then some random person sends you a sketch.
Well, okay, yes, you're correct, but look at me. I would never do that. That's, as a person, I'm never gonna do mystery sketches. Even if I was back into the commission scene, not me. That's not my thing. Because I have expectations that probably will not be met for a mystery, even if it's a stellar one, you know? It's just, you know, not being able to pick the artist is a big thing for me. You know?
Oh, John! Wow, thank you.
Yeah,
John
I'm the same way.
Look at John. Three good ones, 3 meh. So he's only batting 500
Yeah.
on his. You know.
So, just like Rich said, he's in the same boat as I am.
Yeah, I definitely want to know the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mickey, don't complain about the free sketch. Of course, it could come out terrible. It's free and it's quick. What do you expect? You know.
Yeah, but that's 10 minutes of his life he'll never get back.
Yeah.
That's funny. I told him to go get his shine box. Nice. I just saw that the other day.
Time to call the show.
Funny. If you get a bad mystery sketch, let Bill know. If it's a pattern for some artist, he could be removed from the pool. Oh, I see. Okay, so you can at least let them know. That makes sense, you know. Had better luck with gifted ones. Well, why do a sketch that sucks? Well, the guy didn't think it sucked. That he just did some free thing, I guess. I don't know. Or the people that even do it for money. I don't know. Some people, like CJ. Some people, they're just not in the mood. They have other things going on, whatever, and they're like, ugh, but I gotta do it. So they bang it up quick. They do a crappy job, and that's it.
Look at Ian's 50-50 here.
It's what Mikail mentioned earlier in the show about integrity. Some people have it, some people just don't. They don't know how to be professional. That's the problem, So Ian 50-50, yeah, exactly. All that he unboxes it. So what do you mean? He unboxes them and he shows everybody before they receive them or after they receive them?
Before.
What? Okay, see, I'm out on that. That's like what we were talking about earlier, right? With the artists, like what? No.
I believe
it's not a mystery.
You can enter a note saying, "Please do not reveal on social media."
Well, all these flags are coming up for Ruben, so we know Ruben's never going to jump into the mystery or any commission at all.
Think about how you could frame them with color, Ruben.
Oh, yeah.
What?
With a pink mat.
Yeah, you can have some fun with some color in the framing.
Yeah.
Oh, and the framing. Yeah. Mickey, you did not put it in the shredder, did you? I mean, that's pretty. Another new viewer, Ren Grant, had high hopes for my mystery sketch, but it was a letdown. Sorry to hear it, man. Yeah, look, you're going to get all sorts of results, right? Some people get really lucky, some people not so much, right? Sorry to hear that. Evgeny, I've been trying to get on the list as an artist. Oh, wow, there's a waiting list to get on as an artist? Okay, that's interesting.
I'm on the waiting list, Ruben. I do stick figures,
Oh, look at that. Even James, his first one, not good. Took me a couple of years to do another one, and it was much better. Okay, well, that's good. You gave it another shot at least. Yeah, exactly. Should have put a post-it of you burning it. Exactly. Oh, negative. Let's talk about dealers. No. Yeah, we're going to close up soon here. Guys, don't commission them. Oh, he won't let it go.
He has been waiting forever.
But he loves beating the dead horse at the same time. Fun to see the artists take their mystery sketches on pulp characters. That's true. That's kind of nice as well. I agree with you there, Peter. And almost mystery sketch I've seen is poor. Almost everyone you've seen is poor. Okay, you don't know what you're talking. You're just
Hey, Ruben, if you do get mystery, go for Cisco Kid.
Yeah, right. And Tom, I just wanted to say, I don't know where I saw your comment earlier about telling me that I should watch one of Bill's shows. I'm just curious, like, why do you think I should watch one of Bill's shows? Like, does he watch my shows? Do you go on his channel and tell him, hey, Bill, you should watch some of Ruben's shows? Like, you're so weird.
That's the mystery. You're the mystery.
You're so weird about that. But let me also tell you, Tom, that not long ago, I did go back and watch a show. I went and I saw, because my friend Jason Ladwig was on as the guest. And so I wanted to go and support him. And at some point within the first 3 to 5 minutes, I posted a comment. I said, hey, Jason, hi, Bill. And I noticed none of you were responding to me. And that's when I quickly realized, oh, Bill had banned me from the chat. I'm just like, okay, that dude is like, whatever, man. Get the fuck out of here. Whatever. Like, whatever.
You're not a likable person, man. That's the thing, I don't like you.
Too much childishness in this hobby. Whatever. It's so stupid. Whatever. But anyway, so whatever. There you go. Anyways, yeah, no more mystery sketch. No mystery watcher. Yeah. Good night, Evgeny. I saw somebody said goodbye to you. I guess I'll be saying goodbye to everybody as well. Tom's a Bill mega fan. There we go. Well, you don't know what is going on. Bill watches my show. Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Well, I want to thank Rich and Mikail. So thank you guys for joining here. It was great.
Thank you. Likewise.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you guys. Before we go out, let me just quickly let you, just so you all know, next week I'm going to be doing, if anybody's interested. So next week I'm just going to be doing one of those Heritage, the signature auction. It's going to be ending that weekend, right? So I decided I'm just going to come on. Usually what I do is I have a guest or two, and we each pick 10 pieces that we liked, and we just talk about them. I don't really feel like doing that. I'm thinking I'm just coming on, and maybe I'll share my screen. I'll log in, and I'll keep all my saved searches. I have 350 something lots. And whatever, we can all just talk about in generalities about what you thought about the auction. Did anybody win? Did you buy anything? And if you guys want to see, any pieces, whatever, we can, just live go back to the piece. I'll look at the piece, and yeah. So all that just to say, it's going to be really off the cuff. So anybody want to come in on the? I have my thumbnail here. It's not finished yet, but I figured I'll put an unfinished one. So here it is, just so you remember. So it's, I guess I'll make it a part of Comic Art Show and Tell 76 signature auction review next week. But yeah, I'm when I finish the this thumbnail, I will add that it is one of those jump in, jump out type thing. So anybody want to come in and join me at any time throughout the show next week, you're welcome to. At your leisure, of course. Like I said, you don't have to, promise me that you'll come from start to finish. But if you want to jump in and jump out whenever you have to go, that's cool too. Yeah, that's what I plan on doing next week. So that's it, guys. We're going to say goodnight. Thank you, of course, Hart, Rich, and of course, especially to you, Mikail, for reaching out to me. Peeps, reach out to me if you want to be on any one of my shows and do something in particular, something specific. reach out to me. I'm so exhausted of having to reach out to look for people, and finding guests is getting harder and harder. So, yeah, I appreciate the three of you so much. Thank you so much. Those of you watching live, thank you. Thanks for being so chatty tonight. It was very tough to keep up with all your chats. I know you like me, Matt. I know you like me. And you said it earlier that you would defend me at all costs.
You're the only one, Matt. Jeez.
They like you. They really like you.
Yeah. Mikey likes you too.
Matt now.
He'll eat anything.
Yeah. Except Ruben's blue sock.
Good night to you. Worst thing is that ML began working digital. Oh God, he won't let it go. Holy shit! What is up with you and your Mikail joke with he owes you a sketch. Okay. Oh my gosh, who's Mr. Red Jack came in late. Wow. Good. Wait, good perspectives from non. You were here. Okay, you were listening, I guess, while you worked.
He was on the down low.
Okay. I'll be doing a show and tell with Brian in 2 weeks, a couple of weeks from now. So that's going to be fun. Finally, after 3 years, been trying to get him on. Calf posting dump of unpublished backlog in honor of this show. Nice. Mel saying monoprint Marcus. Okay, fun show. Thank you, Peter. Appreciated it. Enjoyed the banter. Yeah, I always enjoy the banter as well. That's what I enjoy the most, actually. Thanks, man. Have a great week, Carl. Appreciate it. You too, Ian. Thank you so much. Each panel, quiet. Emailed you back there. Bye-bye. You ghosted me. People ghosting each other. Have any guests? Okay, no questions.
Apparently, I love you.
Good night, Eric.
Good night, everybody, and thank you.
Catch the rewind, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Commission. Oh, God, he won't shut up. Okay. All right. I've caught up. Thanks, everybody. Let me leave you out with the...
Good night, everyone.
Again. Thanks, guys. One more last time. Yeah, don't forget Nikki B this coming Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And yes, please be back here for the review of the Heritage Auction. We'll talk about how much money we spent or not spent. All right, guys. Thanks very much again, and have a great week to everybody. Be safe out there. It's going to be really, really hot across most of the continent, so be careful. And that's it. We'll see you here next Sunday. As always, go blue.